Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Saturday, November 23rd, 2013. This is episode 1033. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Stamps.com. Use Stamps.com to buy and print real U.S. postage the instant you need it, right from your desk. To get our special offer, go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone, and enter Tech Guy. And by Ting.com. Ting is a mobile phone service that just makes sense. Save money with Ting. You'll pay for what you use, and Ting doesn't require a contract. Plus, Ting offers unlimited devices on a single account. To save $25 on your first Ting device, visit techguy.ting.com. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about tech, computers, the internet, you know, all that jazz, cell phones, home theater. 8888 Ask Leo's the number, 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside, use Skype. You'll still reach me. Aren't you going to ask me why I was late, Heather, on phone range?
Oh, were you late? I didn't notice.
Xbox One. Couldn't stop.
Oh, no.
Couldn't stop playing.
You're a teenager.
No. You know, it's a common misconception that gaming is for kids. Most gamers are young adult men. I mean, admittedly, I'm not a young adult anymore. But most gamers are men with some disposable income. Hey, the Xbox One is $500.
It ain't cheap being a gamer.
Cheap. And each game is $60.
Good God.
Yeah. And
I'd rather have a crack cocaine habit.
No, you wouldn't.
Kidding.
Although there are some similarities, I must say. I got it yesterday. Lori, my UPS driver, got a big smooch about 2 in the afternoon. I said, I thought it wasn't going to come till 8. I'm so happy. And that's the last anybody saw of me for about 24 hours. I just, well, not that long. 36 hours. It's my job, you know. It's not, this isn't for fun. The fact that I played Rise, Son of Rome, and Battlefield 4, and Connect Rivals, and actually, I could go on. Assassin's Creed 3. And, I did that for you. I didn't do that for me. It wasn't selfish. It was, well, all right, it was selfish. So now I've played with both the hot consoles. You know, this is the first time, I think, ever, both Sony and Microsoft had a hot console out at the same time, within a week of one another. And, of course, just in the nick of time for what is euphemistically known as the holiday buying season. The fourth quarter is probably a big time for these consoles, although the nature of console gaming is, and at $500, mommy and daddy aren't buying this for Junior. I bought 5 games and the console. That's $800. Then you have to have, on the Xbox anyway, an Xbox Gold subscription. That's another $60 a year. It adds up. And it only comes with one controller, so if it's a household gift, you got to buy another controller or 2 or 3. I mean, it really adds up. Now, I got to say, that's one of the big differences between the two. The PlayStation 4 is really clearly aimed at gamers. This is a gaming machine. Yeah, it has a Blu-ray player in it, as did the last PlayStation, but really it's a gaming machine. Microsoft has decided that in order to get the family to spend $600+ bucks, well, 500+ games, and by the way, you need to have an Xbox Gold subscription, a $60 a year subscription, to do most of the non-gaming stuff on here. Microsoft decided to build in a lot of non-gaming stuff. I can watch Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and of course, Microsoft's own Xbox movies and music. it is really more of a media center. And I tell you what, it's pretty darn impressive. Yeah, they had some launch day hiccups. I still can't get YouTube working. There's, a few things missing. It has a Blu-ray player. First time Microsoft's done that, but it doesn't have 3D, nor does the PS4. And it's kind of weird. It's really like a computer because you have to download the Blu-ray player. You have to download Hulu Plus, Netflix, all of this stuff. It doesn't come on it. You download it. But the thing that I found most interesting, Microsoft requires now that you include, this is part of the package, this is why it's $100 more than the PlayStation 4, this Connect thing that they were selling on the Xbox 360. The idea is it has a camera and a microphone in it, and you can play games by moving around in front of it, but you can also talk to it. And that when you see it, when you start playing with it, you realize why Microsoft did this. You walk in the room, you say, Xbox turn on, the TV turns on, the cable box turns on, your AV receiver turns on, your Xbox turns on, the camera turns on, sees you, logs you in, says, hi, Leo, logs you in. If there's another person in the room, it sees them, up to 6 people, and says, hi, Sally, hi, Jane, hi, Phone Ranger, and turns on. And you can talk to it. You could say, Xbox, watch HBO. And HBO, it knows where it is. The TV and the cable box suddenly are on HBO. You could say, Xbox, play Call of Duty Ghosts. And the game launches. You can, it's actually works really well, the voice control. It comes with Skype. Not working yet, but maybe it is by now. It wasn't working last night. But when you're on a Skype call, it sees who's talking in the room and zooms in on that person. There's some very interesting features Microsoft's built into this that are quite impressive. And Sony didn't do any of this. Sony said, well, no, we're going to be a better game machine. And gamers, I think, are excited about the Sony PlayStation 4 because on paper, it is a better game machine, better graphics, etc. Although I'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference. I think most people would. It's not perfect. All's not perfect. At least yesterday, it took a while to do things. I think it was very popular. But I have to say, I am very impressed in a way I haven't been in a long time. And in a way, I haven't been from Microsoft in an even longer time. This is clearly Microsoft's pièce de résistance. Really an interesting box that does some very interesting things. And I have to say the PlayStation 4, despite the fact that it had more pre-orders, 1 million pre-orders, we don't know yet how many for the Xbox One, but I'm sure it was less. 1 million pre-orders. I think that people might be, and they'll never admit it, but some of the people who ran out and got the Sony and were ribbing the Xbox One people, saying, yeah, we got 1080p, we got this, we got that, might be looking a little bit sideways now at the Xbox people. And I also think that down the road, Sony's going to have to respond to this, or they're going to miss out. The Xbox One really is more than a game machine. It is designed to take over your home entertainment center. It is designed to be a media box. So it's very intriguing to me. And I found the gaming experience excellent. Played well, okay. There are downsides. You turn on the Xbox. First, it has to download almost half a gigabyte worth of updates immediately before it can do anything. And then each time you put a game in, even though you bought the game disc, it then goes out and downloads many, many gigabytes of data, additional data. The games themselves are, in most cases, you can only get, 4.7 gigs on a DVD, 9.4 if you use both sides. Most of these games are 50 gigabytes and up. It only comes with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, so I can see I'm going to have a crisis soon. I'm going to have to decide. Microsoft has done an impressive job, and if if you're one of the people who said, when's Apple going to do the TV? Steve Jobs said, just before he died, we think the TV experience is terrible and we think we've solved the problem. And everybody assumed from that Apple was going to do a TV. This might be kind of what the Apple TV was supposed to be, a TV you can talk to, a TV where you no longer have to know how to use the remotes at all. You talk to it and it plays what you want. That's impressive. That's impressive. So I was kind of blown away. All right, let's take your calls. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. When you're a tech guy, the Christmas season comes a little bit early because you have to get all the stuff that, is about to hit the stores. So iPad Air, check. iPad Mini with Retina display, check. Oh, I moved way on from that. Lumia 1520, the 6-inch Windows phone. And I just got, check. And I just got the, this is the Nokia 2520. Only 2 companies make tablets based on Microsoft's Windows RT operating system. Microsoft with the Surface 2 and Surface 1, I guess, and the Nokia with the 2520. Nice tablet. I like it very much. It doesn't have a keyboard, though, and it's not going to get one for a while, unfortunately. But in many ways, I think this is the future of Windows, perhaps. At least Microsoft seems to. So let's see. PlayStation 4 check. Xbox One check. By the way, Xbox One, people complaining about the noise the Xbox 360 made. Yeah, I always felt like there was a jet airplane about to take off in my living room. Wasn't a good choice for the living room for that reason. And it didn't have a Blu-ray player. Well, Microsoft's completely responded to that. Both the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are silent, as far as I could tell. Very quiet. They have fans, with one fan, both, but they're big and slow and quiet. And the Blu-ray player, I watched a movie, looks great. And you can command it, by the way, with your voice. You can say Xbox pause, get up, go get a sandwich. Xbox play, pretty cool. So that's why I'm late. I couldn't stop. Heather Hammond, phone ranger, has been collecting phone calls while I've been chatting. You got somebody. Who should I start with?
Let's start with Andrew in Dayton, Ohio. It's a good question. It might take a little sleuthing, I think.
I like sleuthing. Call me Sherlock. Andrew, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. How you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing good. Had a question for you about mobile phones, tablets, Android specifically. I've never really used an iPhone, so I don't know if this would apply. But as an example, this morning I'm tuned into iHeartRadio to listen to some marginal legal advice on a station out your way.
From Mr. Bill Handel.
That's correct. And boy, was it marginal today.
I love Phil.
People are probably going to jail now because of it. But anyway,
funniest radio lawyer ever.
I know. Yeah. So I'm using the iHeartRadio app on my phone or my tablet, and I want to shut it down. So I go to the system menu and hit exit. Okay, it shuts down. But then if I go into manage apps, I notice that it's still running.
This is on all mobile devices now, including tablets, including Windows tablets. This is the way things are, and you have, because you use computers in the old, dim, dark days of computing, you have this notion that a program closes.
Yes.
No. Forget it. Don't forget about it. No need anymore to exit programs. When Android phones first came out, there was a brisk market in task killers because people would say, well, it's got to be using up battery. And maybe in some of those badly written programs they were. But nowadays, on modern versions of Android, anything Android 4 or later, and modern versions of iOS, and even on Windows 8.1 or Windows RT, you don't really close apps. You can, in some cases, many cases you can. On Apple, you can't. And it looks like they're still running when you look at recent apps. Both on the iPad, iPhone, and Android devices, there is a recent apps command. And when you see it, but those are just apps that were run at one point. The way it works now is the operating system just takes care of it for you. So you listen to iHeartRadio, you go do something else. After a while, the operating system says, I think he's done with that, and closes it. Or it does it in stages, though. It first reclaims memory, It halts the CPU, and eventually it will close it, but never takes it out of the recent apps list.
So am I just being like OCD to
Yes.
every time I use iHeartRadio as an example to actually
Yes.
go into manage apps and then force close it when I'm
Yes.
actually done with it?
There's no need. Don't. Stop.
So it's not wasting battery. It's not
Nope.
wasting memory.
Nope.
Okay, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me then.
What happened is people who make operating systems finally realized that non-sophisticated users never closed programs. They would do another thing and another thing and another thing, and that was a drain. And so and especially on mobile devices, they said, you know, what are we making them do that for? Why do they have to even think about that? We'll take care of it. And it's handled at the operating system level. All apps, if they're properly written, do exactly the right thing. For instance, they'll get sent a signal saying, hey, we're going to close you. If you need to save anything, please do. So they'll do it. I mean, it's very nice. It's not doing anything. Now, if you're listening to the show in the background, you should pause it. But I'm sure you're doing that, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Because that uses bandwidth. But there's no need to close the app.
I guess the thing about like an iHeartRadio app in particular, it's got so many permissions. It wants to control my Bluetooth, my microphone. It wants to know what I'm drinking out of my coffee cup. You know what I mean? And
well, now if you're that's okay. So there's OCD and there's paranoid.
Well, I guess
there are different diagnoses in the DSM-3.
Maybe Dr. Mark can prescribe me something to get me through the rest of my phone day.
So there is OCD. There is a reasonable paranoia. You know, people are saying, hey, Leo, you know that Kinect, it's always listening. Of course it is, because I can say Xbox turn on and it'll turn on. It's always looking. That camera's always on because it can see me and it says, oh, hi, Leo. So aren't you worried? No.
I find that completely creepy. And
yeah, I understand, but that's because and this is just like it is related in a sense to this closing of apps thing. People are anthropomorphizing machines. They're acting like they're humans. The Xbox Kinect, in theory, the Xbox Kinect could be piping video and audio from your home directly to the National Security Agency.
Right.
In theory.
Is there truth to the rumor, for instance, that you're watching on, I think it's the PlayStation, the new PlayStation, and it's scanning everybody's retinas in the room.
In theory.
And say you're watching a Blu-ray movie and somebody comes in who doesn't own that Blu-ray movie and shuts it down.
I wouldn't put that past Sony, but no, that's not true. You're joking, I know.
Well, actually not. No, I've read that. Now,
You've actually read that?
A pretty cool feature, you know, because at this point, I don't know who I can have over to watch a Blu-ray with me.
I guarantee you it's not a feature. That is paranoia taken to the nth degree. I understand why people are paranoid, and we certainly have evidence that the government does like to snoop in places it shouldn't be. But it's in the interest of all these companies to prevent that as best they can, and understand it's not necessary for the Xbox One to be. In fact, it would be dumb of the Xbox One to be sending audio back to the home office or video back to the home office. It's not. It's local. Just as when I say, "Okay, Google now" to my phone, it's not sending everything I say back to the home office. It's waiting and locally waiting for the right phrase and then acting upon it. Now, anything I say after that sent back to the home office because it has to do searching. In fact, with the Xbox One, you can say Xbox Bing and do a Bing search, and that will have to be sent back to servers. So we do, you know, I don't want to say to people, oh, you shouldn't worry that nobody's watching, because we now know that in many cases, at least the government's watching, and probably a lot of private industry is watching in some degree. But I'm more worried about the government than private industry. Private industry's interest is really in making you feel better about all this, because all the cool things they want to do require this. Anyway, don't worry about it. Let it be. Scott Wilkinson coming up, Home Theater, right after this. Scott Wilkinson is the editorial director at the AVS Forum. He is a home theater guru and expert, also a home theater geek. That's the name of his show on our network, twit.tv, every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And he joins us every week to talk home theater. Now, I know you're not a gamer, Scott.
No, I'm not.
But I have to say, come over.
Okay, all right.
Come over and just look, because I think this is a very interesting take on TV. I've used the voice activation. My OLED, my Samsung OLED has voice activation. It's nowhere near as good as what Microsoft has done with the Xbox One. It's very good. And you can say a show name, you can say a channel name, and it just knows and goes.
And it doesn't have to, like, learn your voice or anything like that?
No.
It just knows?
Yeah. It's good. It's impressive.
Well, I will have to check that out then.
Yep. You know what, though? It doesn't know? It never heard of my TV.
Well, the OLED's pretty new.
It's very new, yeah. It has a lot of TVs, but it doesn't know the commands for my OLED.
Yeah, somebody in the chat room said it didn't know their Kuro either, which is old.
That's not good.
So,
but, you know, this is really a computer will be updated a lot all the time. So
yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what do you want to talk about, my friend?
Well, I thought it might be a good time to talk a little bit about the upcoming shopping day, which is known as Black Friday.
Yeah. You know, I wonder how big a deal that is these days. Is it still a big deal?
Well, I mean, certainly my inbox is filling up with Black Friday deals.
Mostly because people want to know what, you know, it's not that they want to get in line or are motivated to get in line. There's nothing magical about the day after Thanksgiving now that we can shop online.
True.
But
and a lot of stores are saying pre-Black, you can get the Black Friday deal now.
Yeah. I think because they've realized. However, in order to get you into stores, since so many people buy online now, stores like Staples and Target and Walmart and Best Buy are offering ridiculous prices. Just usually they have a loss leader. And it often is a TV. Usually not a very good TV.
Well, it's true. And what I do is I go to my favorite Black Friday website is bfads.net.
Yeah, there's several of these, aren't there?
There's several of them, and I've looked at a bunch of them. But this one is really good because you can say, I want to look for TVs, and it'll show you the deals at a bunch of different retailers. Most of these websites are retailer specific. You can say, oh, I want to go and see what Walmart has, or I want to go and see what Sears has. But I wanted to look across retailers to see who had the best deals on various things. And I was looking mostly at TVs, and you're right, there's a bunch of TVs that I would not recommend, even at the outrageous prices that you know, they're advertising. But I was looking for ones that I thought would actually be good, good TVs. And I found quite a few, actually. Sears turns out to be a pretty good place to go for TVs. LCD TVs in particular is what I was looking for. I also looked at plasmas, but none of the Panasonics are on sale because they're probably also already on sale because they're on their way out. So I looked mostly at LED TVs, and Sears is typically offering a savings of 20 to 25% on the good ones. And the good ones that I looked at were mostly from Samsung. The F6300 model is a good one. The FH6030 is a less expensive one. BJ's has that for $580 down from $850. That's over a 30% discount. The Samsung F7100 is a really good LED TV, and Sears has that in the 20% discount range. Vizio's got some good deals actually out there. Target has the E470i. It's a 47-inch with direct backlighting, direct LED backlighting, not edge lighting, which I generally don't like. And local dimming. Believe it or not, for an entry-level TV, this thing has full array backlighting with local dimming, this 47-inch model at Target for $380.
It sounds like it'd be a great extra TV for the guest room, the kids' room.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's almost 35% off. Walmart has the E601i, which is edge-lit, but it's a 60-inch and very well regarded by the press all over the place. 60-inch TV for $688, down from $1,000. So, you know, that these particular deals that I found, those two Vizios, the Samsung F6300, 7100, and FH6030 are the ones that I would be looking at to find the best deals on because they're actually good TVs. You know, the brands like Emerson and Insignia, those are well, Emerson's an independent brand, but Insignia is a Best Buy, you know, house brand, I think. Brands like that I don't normally recommend because they're just not that good. But the Samsungs are good. The Vizios.
This is encouraging because my sense was it would always be those kind of off brands that they're luring people in with 69-cent TVs that you, even at that price, you probably don't want. But these are decent TVs. Exactly right. These are not bad.
Exactly.
Now, as you said, that Vizio is great, but it is only 35% off. We're not a huge amount off, right?
Well, no, we're not talking 50 or 80% off.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. But hey, 30% is 30%.
I will take it. Absolutely.
Exactly right.
Probably, though, not the only time of the year you're going to see a discount like this. Also,
probably
right?
not. No, that's true. And I imagine those house brands are probably more discounted. But as you say, if it's really, really cheap, but it's really, really cheap, then it's probably not necessarily worth it.
Yeah.
I looked at Blu-ray players, and Blu-ray players are now all under $100 anyway. So it's like, the Black Friday isn't so big a deal on Blu-ray players, in my opinion. I'm just working now on a buying guide. Actually, AVS Forum is publishing a series of buying guides. LED TV's not up yet. Soundbar's about to go up. I found a couple of sound bars in the Black Friday ads that I thought were really good. Sears has the Sony HT CT 260 soundbar for $200, down from $300. So that's the 33% savings. And the Vizio S4251W is $250, down from $350. That one is interesting because it has an actual physical pair of surround speakers that attach by wires to a wireless subwoofer. So you put the subwoofer in the back of the room, connect these surround speakers to it, and then they communicate wirelessly with the front sound bar and gives you a true 5.1 experience for $250. It's really pretty good.
Is it going to get better in January? In other words, are these the best prices of the year in most cases? Or
well, that's a good question. I don't often make it a habit to look at the prices in January.
I feel like the weekend before the Super Bowl, they're really trying to lure people in.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That is the biggest time of year for sales of TVs specifically, and big ones, big screen TVs. So it may very well be.
Should one wait?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I suspect that you won't get that much better a deal. It might get a slightly better deal but I don't think it's going to be tremendously better than it is now. It's these prices are pretty darn good. Here's a 55-inch for $700. 55-inch for $900. That's a 6,300.
So is all this from BF Ads?
BFads.net.
Doctor almost called you Dr. Scott Wilkinson, AVSforum.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott Wilkinson. All right, I'll let you keep going for a little while.
I'll be happy to just chat with the chat room here. I do enjoy a good laugh. That's true. Let's see. Vin Hot Boy. I like a Sony Blu-ray DVD player at Walmart. Yeah, again, Blu-ray players well under $100 now. We do have a Blu-ray player buyer's guide up on avsforum.com, so do check that out, where I list really the best Blu-ray players that I have found based on my own experience and the professional reviews on major outlets and AVS Forum members' preferences. I made sure I posted a call to AVS members for all of these buying guides. Tell me your favorites of Blu-ray players and streaming media players and plasmas and LED TVs and sound bars and speaker systems. Those are all going up as we speak. We've got, I think, 4 up now, and we're trying to get as many as we can up as quickly as possible. So do check those out. Andrew in Ohio, Scott Tiberius Wilkinson. I saw somebody say something earlier about Leo Tiberius Laporte. And I can't quite tell whether that's a reference to Star Trek or the Roman Empire. Anyway, hi, Sybil. How are you doing? Jim Jam, how common is voice recognition in new TVs? It's becoming more common, but it's only in the higher-end models. Samsung has it, I know. I'm pretty sure LG has it, but only in their sort of top models. So I suspect from what Leo says anyway, this new Xbox One voice recognition is really, really good. So I don't think you need to buy a top-of-the-line TV for voice recognition if you're going to get an Xbox One, which sounds like I should at least get some experience with it. QNX Monkey says, my favorite Blu-ray is Oppo 105 and PS3. Those are both in the AVS Forum Buyer's Guide. That's exactly right. The Oppo 105 is very expensive. It's $1,200 retail. And I don't know how much their discounts are going to be giving. Thank you, Loquacious One. Always nice to see you in the chat room. My favorite fair wench. Let's see. Lawn Dog is asking, it may not be your normal area of expertise, but when gaming and using an LCD to display gaming is 120 hertz important for better gameplay? Well, that's a good question. What's more important for good gameplay is low input lag. And I only learned about this recently because I'm not a gamer, so I don't really care about input lag. But if you're a gamer, the delay between when the TV gets a signal and when it displays it is called input lag. And if it's significant, then your gameplay is going to really be bad. And that's one thing about the Samsung FH6030, which is otherwise a fantastic bargain LED TV, but it's got high game lag, input lag rather. So if you're a gamer, you don't want that TV. You want something with low input lag. And I'm trying to remember where I saw there was a list of the CNET. CNET.com has started to test all their TVs. They have included in their testing for all TVs input lag. And they have a list on their website of the input lag results from all of their TVs. And I don't recall, only the recent ones, only the ones since they've started testing. So I don't recall which ones were the best, but if you're a gamer and you're looking for a new TV, I would definitely look on CNET and look for that list to find the lowest input lag. That's what's important when you are talking about gaming on a TV.
All right, Scott. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. And thank you, Tony Hodson. I looked. He's from Slough, home of the paper company. Thank you, Tony. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. Scott, Long Beach, California. You're next. Leo Laporte here. Hi, Scott.
Hello there, Leo. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Got a question for you. I've got my Verizon Fios router set up in the house, and my office is out in the garage, so a lot of chicken wire between the 2 points.
Yeah.
A couple walls worth of chicken wire.
Yeah, chicken wire is death to Wi-Fi.
Yes. I got a hard wire out to the garage, and I'd like to get some wireless out there, and what do I do?
You have a hard wire to the garage.
Yes, I do.
But you don't want to use it anymore.
Well, I've got the desktop that it's plugged into, but
I see. That's how you're doing it. Okay, you're doing internet connection sharing through a wire.
Right.
Yeah, I don't blame you for wanting to go wireless. How far is the garage?
50 feet.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Wi-Fi, nominally, the range of Wi-Fi A, B, and G is 150 feet. N, in theory, can go farther. Of course, the farther you are from the Wi-Fi, the more the signal is attenuated, turned down, in effect. That's what the chicken wire does, too. It turns it down. So you'll be right next to your Verizon wireless router, and you'll have 5 bars. And then as you go farther and farther away, it goes down. You can still use Wi-Fi with fewer bars, but what happens? Your speed goes down. And it may, in fact, if you get down low enough, it may, in fact, drop out. So there's a couple of things you can do. Probably the easiest thing to do, and this might be tricky. What do they use? Alaritech or something for the Verizon stuff? They use an odd brand. To get a Wi-Fi extender. If they offer such a thing, it's always best to use the same brand of Wi-Fi extender as your Wi-Fi access point. So you may be able to get it to work with a third-party wireless extender, Wi-Fi extender, But it's because the standard that this uses, the wireless distribution system, was loosely written. So implementations are not completely compatible. So if the Action Tech route, the Wi-Fi router you're using the one that Verizon gave you, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's an Action Tech. If you can find an Action Tech repeater, then that would be fine. And what you would do is then set that somewhere so that it's getting a good signal from the base station. And then it's in, these repeaters are really just Wi-Fi routers in bridge mode. They're the same as a regular access point. It's just bridge mode version, which means they don't do any work. They just pass it along. And, you know, by putting that, say, midway to the garage, you might even need to use another one after that. You can use multiple ones and extend it. Eventually, you can get a cloud of connectivity all the way out to the garage. If you know that you have chicken wire in the walls, then going line of sight's a good idea. So I bet you there's a window, perhaps, that you could put the extender in that can see the Action Tech. And maybe if it can see the garage and the Action Tech, you're golden.
That's the problem. I don't have that. The garage, the way it's set up, it's all...
Yeah. So
all covered all the way around.
You got to fool around with it.
Yeah.
There's no magic with radio frequency. It's actually, there's all magic. There's nothing but magic with radio frequency. It's, you know, usually we think of computers as deterministic, but as soon as you get in these analog worlds of radio frequency, you know, things are bouncing in strange, unpredictable ways, and sometimes something can work perfectly. It just, you know, you've done this with a television antenna if you're old enough, and you and I both are. You remember the days when you'd hold the antenna, put one leg in the air, and the picture would be perfect?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and as a ham radio operator, we got the radio part.
Oh, you're a ham. Well, then you know all about this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know all about this. So there's another thing. Do you have power from the house going to the garage?
From the house? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So another thing you might want to look into, and this is something hams hate, but it's fine in this context, is power line networking.
Okay.
It's actually gotten better and better and better. If you don't have a junction box between you and the garage, you know, if it's all one grid, that actually might be the best way to do it. In effect, it turns it into a wired network.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't looked at that and considered it because last I looked at it.
It was terrible.
Ages ago. It was horrible.
It was terrible. Yeah, but it's gotten better. It's gotten better.
Is there nothing I could plug into, say, the wired thing at the end, like a router that I put into bridge mode or something like that?
Yeah, sure. I do this all the time. So I have a wireless access point, and then I got a new one. So I took my old one. They're both Apple, so they're compatible, and used as an extender. But it is also a wireless access point, and so it has Ethernet coming out of it, and I use it as if it's wired.
Okay.
So in effect, it becomes a base unit.
Got it.
Yeah, but so there's a couple of different ways to try this. You want to get, I understand now, you want to get internet out to your ham shack.
There you go.
I understand. That's exactly what, of course. That's because nowadays with the ham radio, you know, a computer can be such a boon. You can look stuff up on, you know, it's so much easier. You can use an electronic logbook. Do you use a computer logbook?
I have it. At the moment, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm looking more at, you know, APRS and things like that.
Okay, then there's all these digital things, which are great. Yeah, APRS and D-Star and all that. It's really an interesting hybrid world now in the ham radio world. So I understand you really want to get out there. You could put a router out there and then connect it wired if you had a wireless access point. The problem is, you know, you got to buy all this stuff and try it. So if you can buy it from somebody who'll take it back if it doesn't work. Then you could see. Powerline might be the best way, and Powerline does show up as a wired network in the ham shack.
Okay.
All right.
We'll give it a try.
All right. See you on Echolink.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Barry in Sierra Madre, California. Barry, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I want to get, actually, I think it's your sponsor, a DSL Extreme, and I want to get it without having a Verizon telephone number. And
they call it dry loop.
Yes, and I want to know, I'm getting varying stories if it's possible or not to do it.
Verizon does not like to do dry loop. So here's the deal. You're really in the situation where you've got two companies that don't like each other. Verizon wants you to use them as your internet service provider, right?
Right.
And you're using an independent internet service provider riding on their copper.
Right.
And they're required to do that by the Federal Communications Commission. But the FCC does not seem to make them be nice about it. And so imagine now Verizon doesn't even make any money for phone service, right? They're just letting, basically they must see this as free riding on their copper. They put that copper in your house. They own the copper.
Right.
And
yeah.
And they don't want anybody else to use it. Now, I don't think the FCC, I don't know if the FCC requirements extend to dry loop or not. Some carriers, some phone companies will do it. Some will not. Basically, I think you just have to plead your case with Verizon and hope that they'll be nice about it.
Really, I have to plead my case with Verizon.
Isn't that sad?
That's terrible, and I don't think they're sympathetic.
No, are you kidding? They want you to use Verizon. They don't want you using DSL Extreme. The other thing you might do is talk to DSL Extreme.
Okay.
One of the reasons I like using an independent internet service provider is they interface with the phone company, not you.
Right.
Let them do it.
All right. Well, so you're saying technically they're supposed to do it, but in reality, it doesn't.
I don't know if they're. I should look and see, and maybe somebody in the chat room knows if they're legally required to offer dry loop. My sense is they are not.
I see. Okay. All right. Well, I shall carry on one way or the other somehow.
Carry on. Yeah. I mean, this may be a non-starter for DSL Extreme. You might have to. And see, this is what the FCC was trying to avoid. Notice, though, they do not require cable companies to do this. If you have a cable connection, the only internet provider is the cable company. And so that's a real disparity, and it was because I think the cable companies were newer into the game than the phone companies. I think the FCC presumed by this time the phone companies amortized the cost of putting in that copper, but the cable companies may still be. I mean, how long's that cable been in your house? 20, 40 years? I don't know. I think they've amortized the cost of it, but for whatever reason, this is how the FCC is. So you certainly can get dry loop from some phone companies.
Yeah.
In fact, Randy's in our chat room saying I've had DSL Extreme for 5 years on AT&T with dry loop, but that's AT&T. So you just got to talk Verizon into it.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It is a weird competitive environment we live in, and the truth is, you want to get better internet, you want to get faster internet, you want to reduce caps. The best thing we can have is real competition, but in most cases, that's just not the case. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Ba-da-da-da-da. Now we're going to go back.
I can't decide whether IT is more like whack-a-mole with different problems stick up their heads and you try to
I don't
hit them
have
with
my
a
magic
hammer,
button
or just
anymore.
waiting for life.
I thought I had a
no
magic
magic
button for Scott. Well, yes, we had this great 2-box and we'll have it for next week, with you and a little inset and then the chat room, so that when you're responding as you are to the chat room, you could.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So, Mr. Gumple, the wizard of Gumple.
He is a wizard.
Is setting
if ever
that
a whiz there was.
But I'll let you hit it.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so here I am, chat room, back with you. YOGI asks, what do I think about all this complicated software in TVs and security issues? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean. If you could be a little more explicit, I would appreciate it. Rusty Bones asked who's going to be on the podcast next Monday, and I answered him in the chat room, but I'll let you all know anyway. It looks like it's going to be a really cool show. I've got 2 re-recording mixers, a guy named Marty Humphrey and Chris Jacobson, who have a studio right here in Burbank, my fair city, with an Oro sound system. Now, Oro, A-U-R-O, is very cool, only in commercial cinema at the moment, but we expect to see it in the home, I don't know, probably in a couple of years, maybe less. That has 2 rows of speakers all around the room, front and surround, and speakers on the ceiling. It's not unlike Dolby Atmos. In fact, it's kind of a competitor to Dolby Atmos. they have the Oro system in their room, and they're going to talk about why they prefer it. And they just finished a really cool project. Many of you may know about Headphone X, DTS Headphone X, which simulates the sound of surround speaker systems in your headphones. And it includes profiles of specific rooms and speakers within the room. And they just finished recording or creating the profile of their dub stage. Their place is called the Dub Stage, and it's basically a audio post-production house for TV and movies. And it's a beautiful room, great sound. And they've just finished doing the initial work for creating a profile for Headphone X for that room, so that when you listen to multi-channel stuff on headphones, you will hear it as though you were sitting in their room. And it's super cool. I mean, it's going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. So I encourage you all to check that out. Let's see. Anybody else got any questions for me? Tim Elliott's asking, do I have a link for the Vizio with full backlight LED? Well, you can just Google Vizio and go to the Vizio website, and you'll find the E series. And it's important to go for the E, and then I put little XX for the screen size, because it might be E47 or 50 or 55. 0. So it's EXX0. And the 0 in Vizio nomenclature means that it's direct backlighting rather than edge lighting. If there's a 1 after the screen size, that means it's edge lit. So the MXX1, whatever, is an edge lit set. Now, the MXX1 has been well reviewed, so, it's a pretty good deal, but I prefer backlighting generally. And the E series is even less expensive. So that's kind of a no-brainer for me. In fact, I recommended the E series to Alex, the wonderful wizard of Twit, the wonderful whiz, hell of a whiz if ever whiz there was, for his new place, and he, I hope, is happy with it. Anyway, just go to Vizio. I think it's Vizio.com. Couldn't be simpler. And look for the E, 0 series. And then the final thing in the Vizio model numbers, just FYI, the I stands for Internet, which means it has Internet apps. And if it has a D at the end of it, that means it's a 3D set. And it's passive 3D with passive glasses, which is, I think, nicer than active glasses generally, although it does cut the horizontal resolution for each eye in half. But it's more comfortable to watch, generally speaking. So if you like 3D, get a Vizio with a D at the end of the model number. If you don't care about 3D, get a Vizio with an I at the end of the model number. But I do recommend, if you can, get a 0, a Vizio with a 0 at the end of the numerical string, because that'll be direct backlighting. Yeah, Waikiki Guru. Partner acceptance for ceiling speakers. In this case, LOL stands for lots o' luck. And that is true. The spousal acceptance factor for a home system with 2 rows of speakers around the room and speakers on the ceiling is probably going to be pretty low. So what you need to do is get a pair of headphones with this dub stage profile in it and listen to stuff in headphones, and you'll hear it if you had this full array of speakers with no speakers in the room at all. So that's going to be very, very cool. Yes, partner acceptance factor for surround speakers, ceiling speakers. Slouch says Thor was awesome in Dolby Atmos. I haven't seen it yet. I was going to go last week, and I just had too much work, and I couldn't go. I'm going to go on Tuesday, I think, and hear it in Atmos at the AMC here locally. Because I expect it to be really good. Slouch, by the way, how was Thor? How was the movie? Was it any good? I thought the first Thor movie was pretty good. And I'm curious to know if the second one is going to be is good as well. Let's see here. Lawn Dog says there's a report and also a lawsuit against some of the TV manufacturers because when you use an Ethernet cable, they are to some extent data mining. In general, they are collecting data from you, not telling you that's the basis of the lawsuit. Well, that seems reasonable to bring a lawsuit against that. Data mining is not a good thing. Oh, UJ says having D-Nice as a guest would be great. I agree. And in fact, you have given me a good idea. I will try and get him on as very much. On Web 0739, same thing. Slackjaw, is Vizio 60-inch good bang for the buck? Yes, generally speaking, I think it is. I don't think the E series comes in a 60. It might. I don't recall. I know the M series does. The E series does, but it's edgelit. It's a E601, so it's edgelit, which is still it's highly regarded by many people. So that I think would be a good thing. Yeah, good point. Viruses, Trojan horses, stuff like that. I'm not sure that those things can infect your TV, to tell you the truth. I suppose they can, but the TV doesn't have any storage particularly. I mean, except for like a flash RAM for firmware updates and stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Rolando asks, how light can the room... Oh, and there we go. 1 more hour. 2 more hours. Leo back? Leo is back. He's having some lunch. Cool, man.
See ya. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Leo.
Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, hour number 2 of the Tech Guy radio program. 8888 Ask Leo is the number. Our website, I should mention this more. Our website is techguylabs.com, and the reason I say that is you can always go to techguylabs.com, and if I mention a website or a product, the links are all there. Thanks to James DeRuvo, who is literally scribbling away as I talk, putting it on the website. Josh Windish then comes in from our office the next day, and he puts the audio from the show and the video from the show up on the website. You can actually go to any individual question from any individual show and watch or listen to the question, my answer, read a transcription of it, and then if you have an opinion or a thought, if you would add it in the comments, I would really appreciate that. We don't charge for the website. You have my word, we never will. It's free, thanks to our great sponsors who provide the wherewithal to do this. And I just like the idea of making a better and better database of information and answers to people's questions. So that's techguylabs.com. Of course, the phone number's there. The link to the chat room if you want to join us in our chat room. We always have several hundred, usually more like 1,000 people in the chat room, kibitzing away in the background as I talk about things. But the main thing is the number, 8888 Ask Leo. Leather. My name is not Leather. I was starting to say Heather Hammond, the phone ranger, and I combined Leo and Heather, and I got Leather, which wasn't really my intent. Leather Hammond. Have you ever considered that as a nickname? No.
That was a nickname.
You're wearing
we've retired
a great caveman vest. It looks like you should be in the Flintstones. Or it's very 60s. Didn't they wear stuff like that in the 60s?
60s, 70s. I'm all about that.
Love that. Who should I talk to next?
We'll just pet it. Let's talk to Brittany. She needs a recommendation. I know you like to help people spend their money.
It's my favorite thing. Hi, Brittany. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy.
Yes, my name's Brittany, and I was calling. I'm going into nursing school coming up in February.
Congratulations. I think that's a great career.
Thank you. So I looked at a couple of tablets that I think would be helpful for me when I go into the program. I looked at the Samsung Galaxy 10.1 as well as the Google Nexus and the iPad Air.
It's so funny that you should ask this question. Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy, just asked me the same question. He said, should I get a Samsung tablet or a Google tablet?
Yeah, I heard that a little bit when I was on the hold.
Yeah. And then you threw in, and I think rightly so, the iPad. So what really comes down to two things: what you're going to do with it, and then a matter of personal taste, frankly, because the tablets have gotten better and better on both sides, and I don't think there's, quality-wise much of a difference. But what do you want to do with it?
Well, I really like the features on the Samsung Galaxy, the multitasking, as well as being able to use that S stylus.
Okay.
Or,
okay.
S Pen, as they call it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's unique to the Samsung.
But I have had an iPhone, and I really wanted to be able to link it to my phone as well because I need the updates and.
Yeah, if you're already in the Apple world, sometimes it's better to stay in the Apple world. In fact, really, that's at this point, that's their big selling point, and it's somewhat true of Android as well. Once you enter that ecosystem, it's just there's less friction using something from another ecosystem. So, but again, is this for school?
Yeah, it's for school. So basically taking notes, using the planner, searching things, YouTube, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, because the iPad is more mature, there's a broader range of software to support students on that. There's great note-taking software like Penultimate. There's really good school time management software out there. I mean, I think that's something where Apple's been around for a while, and there's a broader range of stuff developed for it. What it lacks is the one thing that you mentioned on the Samsung, which is a stylus. So with the iPad, you're either typing your notes in, or you can get a third-party stylus on the iPad, and you could do handwriting, but it's not as good. I mean, do you want to handwrite your notes?
Yeah, I kind of like that feature a lot, and I like how you could some of the other. And I was hoping that if I did get an iPad, because I do like the more Apple stuff better, because it seems more built better and
it's more elegant,
lasts longer.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true anymore. I think the Nexus 10, the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1, those are very well made. And
right, I just didn't like the color on the Nexus. That's the only thing. It didn't look as bright when I was looking at the screen.
Okay. And that's actually true of the Galaxy even more so, because they have they have a pressure sensitive touch layer on top of it that does in my opinion, it reduces the quality of the screen a little bit. I think if you really want to use a stylus, there's really no question you should get a Galaxy Note.
Okay.
That's the multitasking to me is not significant. They really push it in the ads for Samsung. I don't find myself ever using it. It's not such a big deal just to go back and forth. And how often you could be watching YouTube and then taking notes. Maybe you are. Maybe there's videos on nursing on YouTube, and you want to take notes as you're watching it. So that might be a good use for it, I guess. I never find myself doing that. You don't want a laptop?
Well, I looked at the Microsoft Surface because I kind of want something that I can take along with me too.
Right. I think that's not a bad choice. The Surface has a keyboard that you can detach, so then you have a tablet when you want a tablet. But if you want to type, like you want to write a paper, or take more elaborate notes faster, that's attractive. Now we're talking some real money though.
Right.
Surface. If you get the Surface 2 and a keyboard, you're talking about $600-700.
Yeah. No, I think I had like a budget of about $1,000 to $1,200.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a good size.
Good savings for it.
Good for you. I think. Well, in that case, I think the Surface is probably a very good choice. It comes with Microsoft Office built in. I think.
I don't like that Windows operating system. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, so now this comes. We've talked a little bit about what you want to do, and based on taking notes, handwriting notes, there's no question that the Samsung would be the right choice. However, there's also this matter, as I mentioned, is functionality, but also taste, personal preference, and it sounds like you have a personal preference for the iPad. You do already know how to use it because you have an iPhone. All the apps that you want are there. What you lose is you just really can't. I mean, handwriting notes on an iPad, you can do it, but it's not a great idea. It's not perfect.
Okay. So,
do you know if you would need to use Office in school? Are you going to have papers?
Yeah, I was reading up on nursing forums, and one of the downsides to getting apples was not being able to open up some of the programs.
Ah, that's a big problem. So there's software you need to use.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see? Well, that comes under the heading of what do you want to do? If there are programs you need to use in nursing school that run on Windows, you shouldn't even get a Surface 2. You should get a Surface 2 Pro. That's real Windows.
Okay.
You shouldn't even get a Surface 2. If you don't, I mean, look, you'll get used to Windows. That's not the end of the world.
Okay.
And if you have to run Windows software, I think you need to get a Windows machine. What are you going to do if you don't?
Right. Okay.
There are other good choices in that realm. The Lenovo Carbon Touch. Given your price point, you can look at some, your budget's pretty good. You can look at the Lenovo Yoga, which is kind of interesting. I think that there are some real reasons to go with Windows, much as I can tell you don't want to. If you have to run the software in school, you got to do it. Check with your school, too. They may have some discounts. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Sounds like she needs a laptop. You could get a stylus with the iPad, but it's not. It was never designed for this. It has no pressure sensitivity. And the software doesn't have very good recognition, and it's just not a good choice.
So, can I tell you my story?
Yeah, what happened to the wind?
So first of all, my Xbox was out for delivery at 5 a.m. Didn't show up until like 7 or 8.
That's why I kissed Lori.
They left it in front of the house.
Oh, no.
Behind the trash cans, not at the door. So I almost didn't even see it.
Oh, my God.
But then, okay, finally I got
What time did it get there?
I got home at like 8:30 or so, and it was there then, but I stopped at home at 5 and it wasn't there then. So.
Well, that's what it said on my delivery, by 8 p.m.
Yeah, so okay.
That's what. So I thought I'm going to get it at 8 p.m. But I almost missed
it. But okay, fine. So then, okay, taking it home, and I finally started carefully unboxing it.
That's what I'm doing, very carefully. Yeah, yeah.
In the middle of that, power goes out. So
it's so frustrating.
And then
because of the wind.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm near where your old place was.
Wow. So I wonder if my power went out.
Yeah, it didn't. I hope it. I would hope it. That's why you need. And then fine. It's just dark. I have nothing to do. I'm just gonna go walk around.
Your power's still out?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go walk around, see how far.
Why don't you come over to my place? You can play with my Xbox.
Well, no, it's not out now. No, it was out.
Oh, okay.
So walking around, just seeing where the edge of
at night, yeah.
Is, and it's about a 3-4 block diameter. So your house was fine.
Oh, out of it, yeah.
Town is fine.
Yeah.
Just walking around, then I see a PG&E truck outside of Jason's house.
It's Jason's fault.
There's a power line there, or a pole that's got fuses on it. Apparently that fuse blew. So I see PG&E looking at it.
It's Jason's fault.
And then they put it back in, and it blew again. So okay, now they're trying to figure out why that happened. So then I talked to the guy. So what happened was on Cherry Street, a tree knocked over the lines and shorted it, which blew that fuse. But then apparently another fuse.
It cascades down.
The road,
blew
when they redid that one.
Right.
So turns out that was the source one.
Right.
Replaced that one, and then they jumped the things and bypassed where the tree was.
It's kind of amazing it all works.
It took 3 hours.
Oh my God.
The power wasn't back on until about 12:30. So then I got home, then I finished unboxing, plugged it in, then ran the update, and then fell asleep. So I haven't played with it yet.
You haven't played with
ready to go now.
You'll be very impressed.
So I chatted with.
Which games did you get?
Forza and Dead Rising.
Good. I didn't get Forza. I played at Dead Rising for a while. You know, it's so funny. The first episode is before the opening credits. So you have to do all that stuff, and then the opening credits come up.
I've never been into driving as much, but I thought Forza is a good kind of.
It's a beautiful game. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't buy Forza because I'm not into driving either. But I'm not into killing zombies, and I did buy them.
Gave me a souvenir. It's an 80 amp fuse.
Wow. So this is the fuse that blew?
That's not. No, that's. It was a 25 amp on the blue, but that is an
80 amps. It doesn't even look like a fuse. So where's the fuse? In here?
No, that is the fuse.
This is the fuse. The whole wire goes.
Yeah, that's it.
So this wire can handle 80 amps, and after that it goes poof.
Yeah. And then it makes a loud pop. Very loud pop.
Oh, that's really interesting. Wow.
So that's the piece that goes in the tube that then goes in the thing. So like if you like a stereo fuse, like that would be the wire in the glass.
Wow. That's the filament. Yeah. 80 amps is a lot of power. Wow. Wow, that's impressive. Wow. That's nice that he gave you that.
He's a really nice guy.
That's why it's good to talk to these guys. You never know what yeah, that's really cool. That's a good souvenir.
He explained the whole thing so that he's a troubleman, so they were troubleshooting.
He knows all about it, yeah. How cool is that? Yeah. That's really neat. Wow, that's really cool. I'm glad it's back, and I think you'll have the afternoon to play with it, and you'll be very... I don't expect to see you for another week or two. You should have got Call of Duty.
Cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the number if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. So I am open to criticism. I know I'll get some. This is a good thing to go to the webpage. Help our caller out. You heard what she needed, what she wanted, and she was a little bit on the fence. It's one of those things where you can tell what somebody wants. She wanted to buy an iPad. But then you understand she wanted also to take notes, so she probably needs a Samsung tablet. Oh, but then, by the way, I found out that the software that I need to run in nursing school only runs on Windows. Well, this might be bad news, but you need a Windows computer. The good news is in her price point, $1,200, there are lots of great choices for Windows 8.1 notebooks. Get one with touch. You know, if you get a tablet, you probably can do handwriting on most of with like OneNote, which is Microsoft's note-taking app, and have pretty good results. So that might be the great choice. A Surface Pro 2. It's going to be right at the edge of what you can afford, but I think that's a good choice. And I think there are third-party Lenovo, for instance, that makes some very nice Windows 8.1 stuff. It's hard, if you're, in the Apple ecosystem. It's hard to buy a Windows machine. No, really? I got to buy a Windows. Oh, no. Laxman, Fort Defiance, Arizona. What a great... Is that where F Troop was shot? No, probably not. Hi, how you doing, Laxman? Do you play lacrosse?
Hey. Leo.
Yes.
How are you doing? I'm a long-time viewer since the days of ZDTV.
Welcome. Well, thank you.
I've been trying to get all of you since Screensaver, but finally I get to talk to you after a long year.
You've been trying to talk to me since the since 2004.
Well, before that, ZDTV, when you had Soldado O'Brien as your co-host.
Oh, that goes back to 1994. So you've been trying to talk to me for almost 20 years.
I guess. Hey, by the way, where's Chris Perillo nowadays? I haven't, heard of him.
He's doing. If you Google Chris Perillo or Locker Gnome, which is his brand name, you'll see he's a very busy guy. He's become a YouTube phenomenon. He does a lot of YouTube videos. He's what they call a daily vlogger. He does a daily video blog. Vlogger is the worst word in the world.
What makes me laugh? One time he was in a call for help, and he had a life-size photo of you. And you came over and took it away, and he grabbed your foot, and you dragged him
I dragged him along. He's only about 3 feet tall, so I think people don't understand that Chris is very small. And no, I love Chris. He's a good friend, and he's doing very well for himself.
That's good.
Yeah, his Locker Gnome conferences are huge, and of course he's become a celebrity on YouTube, which is neat.
And Patrick Norton is still with you, right?
Patrick Norton's my good buddy. He does a show on our network called This Week in Computer Hardware because he's a hardware guru. And, of course, he has his own show called Techzilla, Techzilla, which is on Revision 3. So if you Google any of the names of the people who used to be on Tech TV, this was
Tech TV?
Yeah, this was a cable channel for 6 years. It was just a cable channel for geeks, really. And all of us have gone on, I think, to doing more of the same.
Yeah, more. Well, Soldado O'Brien is with what?
She's done very well. Yeah, she's done very well.
Now she's with I don't know where she's now. But she
was at CNN. I don't know where she is either, actually. But what can I do for you, Laxman?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I use my iPhone 5 to log into my bank, and I want to make sure I don't have any malware. So, is there any anti-malware for
No
Apple iPhone 5?
No.
No?
And the good news is you probably don't need it. There is anti-malware on Android devices because, well, see, remember that you cannot make an app for Apple that Apple doesn't approve. And for Apple to approve of an antivirus would be for Apple to admit that there are security issues, and they don't want to do that. So they don't. There is no antivirus on an iPhone. And in the world of Android, you probably don't need an antivirus any more than you do on the iPhone. And both of them have malware, but they're not big problems. But because you don't have to get Google's approval to sell something in the Google Store and the App Store, there are numerous antiviruses for Android. That one might look at that and go, wow, Android must really be an insecure platform. No, it's because Apple doesn't improve antiviruses. Now, and also it has to do with the Apple operating system. And this is one of the reasons it's not an issue, is the Apple operating system. Each application is very much segregated from the other. They have their own data space. There's no shared data generally. So the good news is it's very hard to take over an iPhone. So it's safe to use for banking, in other words. Really, the bigger risk, if you ask me, would be the fact that you're doing this on a wireless network. But because all the banking applications use encryption between you, your phone, and the bank itself, I think you're fine. I think it's completely safe. I do all my banking, in fact, on mobile devices these days. It's so easy. Most banks have apps. In fact, if you want to watch our iPad Today show from this past week, twit.tv/IPT, we talked about financial applications, and there's a lot of them. And almost every bank has an app. I have a Bank of America account. I use the Bank of America app. I have an account with USAA, which is a virtual bank. They don't have any branches, and I use an iPhone app with that. Chase has very good software. So I think it's safe. Don't worry about it, in other words. Go ahead and enjoy. It's as safe as any, as a computer. Almost all the malware is on a desktop, isn't it? Thanks for the kind words. I appreciate it, Laxman. Monica in Glendale, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Monica.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm glad to talk to you. I've listened for a long time.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, nice to meet you.
Thank you. I have a boo-boo TV.
A boo-boo TV?
You gotta say that what happens when you have 18 grandkids.
What's a boo-boo TV?
Well, I just bought a new Vizio because mine just went zonk.
Uh-huh.
And I've had it for about 3-4 days now.
Yeah.
But what happens is, like, when you watch the live news or you watch one of the, like, lawyer shows or something.
Yeah.
The person in the middle, he's fine and clear. But the people on either end, they grow big. And blurry. Like you're in a bubble.
I'm sorry.
It's not funny.
Okay. That's very so you're saying it's a distorted picture, like they're in a bubble.
Yeah, like two old ladies lifting this TV, and the idea of taking it back.
Well, I think before you do, there might actually be something wrong with it, but I think before you do, what you want to do is go in the menu.
Right.
And there are a number of different picture modes that you can have with high-def television. I think the TV is just set wrong.
Okay.
And so what you don't want is zoom. That's one of the options on the picture modes. What you'd want is something that it's a high-def TV, so you want it to be, and it just depends. I don't remember what Vizio calls. I should look on my Vizio and see what it calls it in the menu. But what you want is, sometimes they call it 1:1. All right, so I'm going in the menu. Let me see. Oh, we're out of time. Hang on, and I'll find out. Don't go away.
Sure.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm going to play with my menu here. That's not it. Where would it be? Where would it be? Picture, audio mode, maybe setup, language, sleep timer. So what do I want? Do I want wide? Do I want stretch? He's probably in stretch. There's zoom 1. There's full. So the choices are, you want full, not stretch or zoom 1 or zoom 2. Yeah, I mean, this is these least expensive videos, which is probably what you have, don't have really much on the menu here. There's no aspect button. Full is what she wants. Also, you could go to settings, picture settings, reset picture mode. I didn't see that. Let's see. Let's do that again. Exit. Menu. I don't even have settings in here. I have set up. Maybe that's what you mean. Input naming, HV position. Yeah. You could do a system reset. But I think that probably she doesn't need to do that. But I will mention that. That's good. Bubble comes with stretch. Is that what she's seeing? Hey, JJ.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I am well.
Good.
What do you want to talk about today?
I got a bunch of things to talk about.
Uh-huh.
4 things.
Are you at home? You look like you're at home.
I am at home. And my place is a mess.
And you're going Movember on me.
I am. And I didn't shave. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't shave
no. I don't care about the rest of it, but
a mustache.
You're clearly growing a mustache, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going out for a new porn show, so.
This is the problem with mustaches. With all due respect, Enrique. Sometimes you're just, I think I want to grow a mustache myself. I think it would be distinguished on me. I don't think I'd look like a porn star. I'd be just distinguished.
Well,
you look like a porn star.
My dad is now growing one because I'm growing one.
Oh, you're so close to your dad. I'm kind of jealous.
He's right behind me reading his book.
That's so sweet. You're not sick of him yet, huh?
Well, we get moments. Don't believe. I love the guy, but he does test me.
I started growing a mustache for Movember.
So.
And then I was shaving one day and I wasn't thinking, and I just shaved it right off.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
my
wife says December 1st. It's coming off.
Dr. Mom says I wouldn't look distinguished. I'd look like a rabbi. I probably would. Well, we have the phony mustaches, and I have a picture actually of me. I think I look quite good in a mustache, but let me just show you the picture of me in a mustache, and you could tell me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Google Plus. Somebody took a picture of me. Home.
Need some work on my Google Plus page.
Photos. Lisa pointed out that I haven't checked in on any of these things in ages, and she's right. I kind of lost interest in Foursquare and Path, and I just kind of lost interest.
I go into fades.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Fades.
I do. I go into fades. Okay, so here's one look with a mustache that looks kind of like Captain Kangaroo.
Is that a real mustache you have on?
No. That's the problem, is I don't know if it would grow out like that. I think it wouldn't be quite so gray. And then this, I think, this is the distinguished look. I think I look good with that.
You definitely look like you belong in England.
I look like the guy in Monopoly.
You do, actually.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, riding his big old jet airliner into our show and into our hearts is Johnny Jet, our travel guru. Hello, Johnny. Good to see you again.
Nice to be back. I'm in chilly Los Angeles.
Chilly? Wait a minute. Los Angeles, it never rains in Southern California.
It rained yesterday.
Yeah, we had a little rain up here, too, and wind. So I see you're growing a mustache. Is that for Movember?
It sure is. It's for Movember. My wife hates it, but it's for a good cause.
That's what you say, honey. I have to grow it.
That's right.
I'm Movembering.
That's right, and I don't have to shave.
Movember was thought up by some guys in Australia who didn't want to shave and had to convince their wives it was for a good cause. So they created the Movember movement. It's for men's health awareness.
Prostate cancer.
Yeah, it's a good cause. Are you raising money somehow? Or are you just growing a mustache?
Next year, I guess I'll start raising the money.
Well, I guess there's awareness because people are look what you just did. You told 1 million people about Movember that you're doing the job.
I'll donate some money. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Johnny, what can we talk about today?
I thought we'd talk about the FCC and the cell phones on the planes, but before we do that, I want to make sure that by the time this segment's over, these deals are probably going to be gone. But I just saw it might be a mistake fare by United and Norwegian. L.A. to Sydney round trip $717, including everything. And there's also deals to Europe and India starting at $149.
No.
From the U.S. each way.
Fly to India for $150
each way. But I mean, still,
I'm going. $300 I could go for the weekend.
I just quickly sent a tweet out and I posted it in our deals newsletter that we send out whenever there's a crazy deal like this. So it's not on the website. You have to either go sign up to our newsletter, deals newsletter, or go to my Twitter handle, which is at JohnnyJet, and I actually put it on the Facebook page. But it is incredible deals.
These are sometimes just computer errors, right?
Yeah.
And do they honor them if it is a computer error?
Usually they do.
Wow.
Especially this one because it's not that ridiculously low.
It's not a $1.50. If it were $1.50, right, then they might say, "Oh, that was a mistake."
Right.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about some technology. So, did you see the FCC wants to reopen the case about allowing passengers to speak on their cell phones up in the air?
Well, now, wait a minute. I thought that the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, ruled that passengers could use non-transmitting devices like Kindles and iPads in the air, but said specifically no phones.
That was a week before. Now the FCC is coming out and saying they're going to reopen this case. I think it was 7 years ago they
Wait a minute, the FCC is saying maybe we will allow cell phones on planes?
Yes.
No!
Yes, that's how I feel too. Well, it will be, I mean, it's obviously going to cost a lot more money to use your phone up there, but
here's what I think. You got to see, Johnny, you're an innocent fella. I don't want to say naive, but you're sweet, you're innocent. You think the best of everyone.
Yep.
You got to understand what's going on. People are petitioning the FCC. They're saying, look, the FAA said there's no interference. Why aren't you allowing phones? FCC knows perfectly well it's not about interference with navigational stuff. It's about the handoffs at high speed, 600 miles an hour, 8 miles up, that just kill the cell towers. And they're going to look into it and come back and say, we've studied this, and I'm sorry, it's not safe. And then no one will bug them again.
I don't know.
They have no intention of allowing this.
No, they allowed it in Europe now. So
what?
So everyone's pointing to Europe. So if Europe does it, so now they're going to say that it's going to be up to the FAA and the airlines to decide. But
well, that's even worse. Now they're saying we don't want to deal with it, so let them be the bad guys. That's terrible.
But the airlines, this is a great revenue stream for them. Think about it. Now they're going to be able to sell quiet rows.
Yeah, because I mean, really, that's the reason I'm against it. It's not, I guess it would be convenient to be able to use my cell phone, but it's so annoying.
And everyone's ringer going off and has every different ringtone possible.
And nobody talks at a normal level on a cell phone. They all talk like this.
And then when you get on a plane, amplify that by 10 times. It will be a living hell, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the airlines will allow it because there'll be many fights up in the air.
Have you been on a European flight where cell phones are allowed?
I've actually no, I haven't been. I think they just approved it, and I have not been yet. I've been on flights in Europe where you can text. British Airways has a flight from London City Airport to New York.
This I kind of understand. Texting it. Maybe that's what they'll do.
No problem.
Yeah.
Texting, no
problem. I
problem.
don't care if you want to tippy tap away on your phone. Just don't pick it up. Just don't answer.
And I know they're going to charge
ringing.
more, but there are ways around getting online using Skype, over the internet using Wi-Fi. So I don't even want to talk about how you can do that since I don't want to.
There is a petition at whitehouse.gov. Maybe this is. I don't know. This is the one I want to sign. Instruct the FCC. This is at the We the People petition site. Anybody can make a site, petition on We the People. Instruct the FCC and the FAA that cell phone use is not appropriate on flights. There are only 2,012 signatures. If they get to 100,000 by December 21st, then the White House has to respond.
It looks like they're just...
It just started. So I am now telling the world. We will put a link in the show notes. Go sign this petition. You don't, dude. Is there anybody who really wants people to use cell phones in flight?
There are some people who want it.
Yeah,
I'm not one of them.
Mr. I want to show off that I'm a big shot businessman.
The people who think they're important want it.
I need to be able to talk to my secretary.
I mean, it would be nice once in a while, like right before landing or something, or when you take off saying, hey, they just changed the flight. This is what time we're getting in. But you can do that via text, or you should be able to do that text or email. I mean,
come on.
frequent travelers all have a monthly pass to GoGo or whatever internet service there is so they can log on.
Yeah, get on the line. Get online. Don't do it on your phone.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't happen.
All right. Anything else? We got a minute or two left.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco.
You're depressing me.
I'm depressed myself.
Yeah.
I was in San Francisco this week. I was actually at Pinterest's headquarters.
Pinterest. Now they probably noticed that Johnny Jet stepped up his social media presence on Twitter, Google Plus, and Facebook, and they're probably saying, "Hey, you got to pin us a little bit here. Give us a little pin love."
I've been on there for a long time since my wife is a fanatic on Pinterest, and she's been on it since they started.
It strikes me, and I'm going to be very sexist here, that this is something that women seem to prefer to men.
Without a doubt, it's probably 80% female.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy pinning it because when I was a kid, I used to have a cork board and you can cut out stuff and put your.
I have a Pinterest. I put stuff on there.
What they revealed this week is a travel thing called place pins, and I really love it because it's actually just maps everything out. So let's say you can create a board on Australia and put all your places that you want to go there, or let's just say you're at your studio and you want to, that Italian restaurant that you went to, you can put that on there and do the exact map location.
So this is interesting because I just signed into Pinterest for the first time in months. It says map the things you love near and far. You can now add a beautiful interactive map to any of your boards or create new boards. So they're really this is interesting. This might be a response to the fact that it is primarily women that use Pinterest. Something maybe everybody loves to travel, so I'm going to call it my favorite travel spots. This is good.
Well, I think it was because Pinterest has 1.5 million destinations on their website, and I think there's more than 750 million pins of these places on the on their website. So they're like, you know what? Travel is a huge driving force in the world and also on these different websites.
Just tell Johnny Jet, huh? At Johnny Jet on the Twitter, johnnyjet.com. Grow that mustache, boy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The hairless tech guy. Category: animals, architecture, history, outdoors, tattoos, travel. Add a map? Yes. Secret? No. Create a board. Yeah, see, I did it.
Here they come, the holidays.
That's cool. That's cool. And now I have a map of so I could click places I've been.
So look who's next to me.
Who's? Hey, Dad.
Say hi.
How are you, Mr. Jet?
Jet Senior.
Jet Senior.
Okay. For my youth.
Yeah. Did you have fun in Las Vegas?
Did you have fun in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice, except I was restricted in my gambling.
That's because you're too good at it. They don't want anybody too good to be gambling because you're going to cost them money. They got to build those big hotels. They can't afford to have you win.
They're too good at gambling.
Well, I'm just wondering who's this mustached guy that I'm.
Hey, we're wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Coming as it should be.
He looks like Errol Flynn.
Says I look like Errol Flynn.
He is handsome.
All right, Johnny. Thank you.
All right.
How sweet. Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, Dad.
Yeah, my dad just woke up from a nap.
Can he be my dad, too? Anyway, that's so sweet. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, buddy. We'll
Take
talk
care.
next week.
All righty. Bye-bye.
See you later.
I love Johnny. Isn't he great?
Toner cartridge to hard drive.
Anybody who's so nice to his father, right? Yes, should be. PC, mobile device, anywhere. Spybot Search and Destroy Professional Edition scans the iPhone. Does it sit on the phone?
It is so cool, so well done.
Or does it sit on your computer?
You gotta try it free for 30 days. Visit gotoassist.com. Click the Try It Free button. Use my name, Leo, as the promo code.
Is there a Spybot app?
Promo code Leo.
No, there's not. So what they're saying is BS. This is BS. So what it scans is not your phone, but whatever's on your desktop. It can't see your phone unless... Yeah, this is a waste of time and money. Probably free, but it's still a waste of time. So what it's doing is it's scanning, see this? It's scanning what's on your computer. And you know what? If it were that easy, I think Apple would have let you know. I mean, remember, Apple's doing similar scanning. That's not the problem on iPhones. That's not the problem. I do not recommend that. The problem on iPhones is if you want to, and people have done this to get malware on an iPhone, you have to make the application look benign, and then assemble applications, benign applications, into a dangerous application. So Spybot's the thing about Lookout, at least it's searching the phone. Spybot's not even searching the phone. It's only so you have to sync to the desktop, and then it's only seeing what's on the desktop. That's absurd. It probably isn't even doing anything, to be honest with you. It's probably just saying, this app, there's not. So what they probably have is a database of apps known to be malware, and they look and see if you have that app. It's absurd. And yeah, probably any good antivirus would do something similar. Maybe not. I don't know. So now I have to add places. Paris. This is too much work. See, this is the problem with all this stuff. It's too much work. I've lost interest already. Oh, iTunes definitely does that.
Carbonite for the live read.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 88 Ask Leo. Connie's in Thousand Oaks, our next caller. Hi, Connie. Leo Laporte here.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So I have a question regarding seniors and their obstinance.
I'm sorry. Is there someone particular you're talking about?
Yeah, dear old dad.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Love him to death. Okay, but here's the situation.
Can I just say one thing, Connie?
Yeah.
Mom, stop listening. Okay, now my mom's not listening
totally.
anymore. We can talk. Let's talk.
Okay. So he thinks, as I find with a lot of seniors, when the screen, his computer, he has a Mac, goes dark, it's off.
Right. Of course he does.
And, of course, right. And I've told him, I said, Dad, it's like leaving your house, but you haven't locked the doors and all the windows are open. And they have gotten statements where someone's used their credit card in San Diego, charged $500.
Okay.
They've had,
Wait a minute, though. So he gets up from the computer screen turns off.
Yeah.
Next time he sits down, he comes back, it's on. You're thinking that while the computer's on, somebody's using it?
Well, I'm just think that it's more easily hacked. His email is open and everything.
No.
Really?
Really. You can leave your computer on. That's not making it more vulnerable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He had to close out everything. Even like because he orders stuff online, he didn't finish something and then they went to dinner and he didn't lock. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, I'll tell you a few things you might want to do for Dad to protect him.
Okay.
Is he using a Windows machine? Or a Mac?
It's a Mac, but it's a Mac.
Okay, good. That's a good start. There's job one. Get him on a Mac.
Okay.
When he goes online, does he go directly online or does he have a router or a wireless access?
No, directly.
Okay, so the next thing, and this is not uncommon, if you only have one computer, you might say, well, I don't need a wireless access point, I don't need a router. But it's a good idea to have a router in between you and your cable modem or DSL modem, because that is the first thing that's on the internet. So let's assume, okay, Dad leaves the computer on, and a bad guy is trying to, get him. The bad guy will run into this brick wall called the router before he can't talk directly to the computer. So if you're concerned, a router is a good idea as a firewall. Okay.
Okay.
The truth is, you want to know how computers get infected? Not because they're just sitting on the internet, sitting there passively. It's because email comes in with viruses attached.
Right.
Or
tell them to delete those. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, you don't even know. Sometimes it might be from a friend, I mean, seniors, if they're not sophisticated, and there are many seniors very sophisticated, but if they're not sophisticated, I shouldn't say seniors, anybody who's not sophisticated can fall prey to this.
Right.
In fact, the Swansea Police Department, Swansea, Massachusetts Police Department, fell prey to this. They got an email.
Wow.
They opened it. The email said, "Hey, you just got a fax. I don't know what it was, but they thought it was a PDF inside. It wasn't. It was an executable called Crypto Locker, and it encrypted all the data on their drive and said, if you ever want to see your drive again, give us $300.
Oh my God.
This is a police department.
Oh my God.
And they had 72 hours to do it, and they said, oh my goodness, I better give them, and they paid the $300. That can happen to a police department, can happen to anybody, right? So that's an attachment in an email. It will often look like it's something that you really want to act upon. It's your bank. We just received a wire transfer. We've attached the fax to the email. Please open it. You open it. Boom. They got you, boom, before you could do anything.
Right, okay. So the fact that he's using a credit card and his social and passport.
No, because this is another kind of attack. It's called a phishing attack. It looks like he's gone to Amazon.com, but really he's gone to Amazon.com. And it's a fake, I'm making that up, obviously, but there's a fake Amazon that it's easy to duplicate the Amazon page, asks for your Amazon, says, oh, good, you want to buy this dishwasher from Amazon.com? Well, you just need your credit card and all that. And then it isn't really Amazon. So those are called phishing with PH, phishing scams. They often come in emails, but an email from your bank saying, hey, somebody's tried to log into your account. Please log in. He clicks a link in the email that looks like it's Bank of America, but really it's going to hacker.com.
Got it.
And so you got to get him to be a little suspicious. Should not click links in emails or on Facebook. You've got to be very careful about the links he clicks. Always make sure it's the page that he thinks is on. It may look exactly like it. Those are the risks, not just leaving your computer on.
Oh, okay. Then all right. I'm just worry about them, and I'm all.
I don't blame you.
Totally.
I don't blame him. But you know what? Just ask him. Say, do you remember when great-grandpa got electricity for the first time? Wasn't he worried the electricity was going to jump out of the socket on the wall and electrocute him? We've all been same thing.
Where did you grow up?
The hacker is not going to jump out of the wall into his computer. But he has to. It's his behavior that you have to watch out for.
Which I do. Okay.
Good.
One other thing. Do you know when we're on hold, we can hear you talking to the people there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have no secrets. In fact, you really want to get crazy, you can watch me talking to the people there. Yeah, twit.tv. We stream it live, audio and video, 24/7. I have no life.
Great.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. And Connie, I'm really glad you're looking out for Dad.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Thanks, Leo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Hey, we had a caller earlier who, I forgot to mention this. Her TV looked like she was in a bubble. And I was going to tell her how to fix that. If you go, and I tried it with my Vizio. It depends on the TV, unfortunately. And even in one manufacturer's, different models may vary. But if you go to the menu and you go into the setup menu, you'll have different choices. There is the full screen choice, but there's also Zoom 1, Zoom 2, and you want to pick full screen. Okay, you probably have it in a zoom mode, and then it makes it look kind of strange. So make sure it's full screen, which is normal. You also should use HD channels instead of standard def channels. So a lot of times on your cable box, you'll have the standard definition of all your local channels and the high def version. Make sure you use the high def version. You'll get a better result on your screen. It won't look so strange. And if that doesn't fix it, yeah, maybe you got a problem. It could be that the TV's weird. It's messed up. Not full. Well, which one do I want? Now, see, I got to go back to my Vizio. They're saying, no, Leo, not full. All right. So I'm going to press Menu. I'm going to go to Setup. And I have a number of different choices in Setup. If I scroll down to the entry for, it says wide. I have full. I have stretch. You don't want stretch. I have zoom 1. You don't want zoom 1. So full's the one you want. That's the one you want, at least on my Vizio. See, it's different on every TV. Sometimes it's 1-to-1 would be right. Sometimes normal would be correct. Try it until it's accurate, until it's what you want. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Our show. We're going to talk to Bernie in Lakewood in just a bit. Bernie, Lakewood, Colorado. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi there.
Hey, Bernie.
Yeah, Leo, I love your show.
Thank you.
Your shows. The question I have is, I made some slideshows and from old slides.
Fun.
Years ago, burned them onto DVDs.
Okay.
And they work fine. But now I put ISOs of those DVDs on the NAS, and I like to be able to play the ISOs back.
Aren't you sophisticated?
So VLC will do it from a computer, but I'd like to be able to do it from the iPad to AirPlay it to an Apple TV or something.
Oh, all right. Let me hang on, because we've got to take a break for the top of the hour. We'll talk about it. I think we can do this when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by Stamps.com. Why would you ever go to the post office this time of year? Oh, people waiting in line, trying to mail me birthday presents. It's crazy. Crazy. You know, you don't have to go to the post office, because everything you do at the post office you can do right at your desk with Stamps.com. That's what we do. We don't, my time's too important, my employees' time even, too important to spend time at the post office. What we do is we have a Stamps.com account. Then we can use our computers and our printers to print postage. I can print out stamps just like this. You can print forever stamps. You don't have to, though, because Stamps.com always knows exactly what the postage rates are, right? Prints out the right stamps. But they can also print directly on an envelope, which is nice because you can have your corporate logo, your return address. It'll pull all the addresses of the recipients. Let's say you're sending out invoices at the end of the month, right? Goes through your QuickBooks, gets all the addresses, prints right on the envelopes. Couldn't be easier. They're ready to go. You send packages. Maybe, you sell hand-knitted crocheted sock warmers on Etsy.com. Let's just say on Etsy.com. Or you sell on Amazon or PayPal or eBay. Maybe you're an eBay seller. Stamps.com works with that. So all you have to do is sold. You got the sale. You open Stamps.com. It pulls the address of the recipient right from the eBay page, populates it. You put the package on the scale. Do I have the scale here? Yeah. The free USB scale. I'm going to tell you how you can get this. You plop it on there. Stamps.com. Doesn't even make that sound, but I wish it did. And then it prints out a mailing label. You slap it on the package. If you're sending express or priority mail, I guess they call it Priority Express now, right? Yeah. You can actually email the recipient with a tracking number automatically. You press a button and the mail carrier comes to you and says, "Where's your packages? I hear you have some packages." "Yes, here. Take these, please." No cost. You even get discounts you cannot get at the post office, because, frankly, the post office would love it if you didn't come in. They actually said that to me. They said, "Can you not have them come in anymore? Just tell them to use Stamps.com." You want to try it? Here's your chance. Go to Stamps.com. Use our offer code TechGuy. So, by the way, you're going to see a very attractive offer on the front page. Don't take it. Click the radio microphone in the upper right-hand corner. Enter in TechGuy. One word is the offer code. Then you'll see an even more attractive picture of me and an even more attractive offer. A $110 bonus value includes $55 in free postage over the life of your account. You also get that digital scale I mentioned. You just pay $5 shipping and handling. They'll give you a $5 supply kit to make up for that. And a month, 4 weeks free of Stamps.com. What do you got to lose? There's no risk here. Cancel at any time. Keep the postage scale even. Stamps.com. Please use the offer code TechGuy, all one word, so that that guy there, he looks like he's starving to death. If that guy can afford lunch, this poor fella can afford lunch tomorrow. Stamps.com. What do you think is so funny?
Waikiki Guru says it looks like bacon and poo.
Oh, you. Stop that. That looks like bacon and goodness. That's a real donut. I'm thinking that's a maple bacon bar.
That's a bummer.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, will begin.
Is that
at
from
6
Voodoo
minutes
Donut?
past the hour.
Voodoo
From
Donut's the
Premier
place in
Radio
Portland that they made fun of on The Simpsons. You live in Portland? Oh, that's neat.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh. So are you a resident here or?
No, I just started.
Just temporary? Daimler moved you up? What do you think? It's a little rainy. Oh, good. Oh, good. At least you got Voodoo Donut. That makes up for the rain. Have you been there yet? You brought them some donuts? Oh. Donuts. Oh. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy, hour number 3 of the Tech Guy radio program. We talk about computers and the internet, but more like about cell phones and home theater and stuff like that. In fact, Bernie had a great home theater question. He has his photos on a server, what they call a network-attached storage device. It's a big hard drive that's on the network, visible to all the machines in the house. And on there, he has some... I have to define all the terms you used, Bernie. He has some ISOs. That is effectively a file that is an image file of a disc, like a CD or a DVD. So those phony discs can be viewed, of course, with the right software that understands the ISO disk image. Do you mount the ISO before you use it with VLC?
I just double-click on the ISO file.
Oh, that's neat. So VLC is an amazing program, free program made by French schoolboys, videoland.org, and it allows you to open up a lot of files. I didn't realize you could open ISOs with it. That's pretty sweet. But you can't do the Apple TV doesn't understand ISOs either. So with the Apple TV, you probably... Do you have Macs?
Is that an app?
You have a Macintosh?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
So Macintosh with Lion or later, maybe it was Mountain Lion or later, can AirPlay directly from the computer, right?
Yes.
So what you probably want to do is get a program on the Macintosh that will open those ISOs. You've already got, I'm sure, the hard drive mounted on the Macintosh. You can already see it. So if you're not, you'll need to do that.
Yeah.
And then you'll need to open the ISO with a Macintosh program. Disk Utility probably would do it. But there are other ways to do it as well. So once you mount the ISO, then that means that ISO is visible as if it were a disk in the Mac, inserted into the Macintosh.
Okay.
At that point, you can use any software, including the preview program built right into the Macintosh, to play back the slideshow. And then, last step, and I know there are quite a few here, you AirPlay that Macintosh to your Apple TV.
Okay.
So you got mainly the issue is, and you could even just copy these ISOs to the Macintosh. I mean, I understand the reason you keep it on a NAS is so that you don't have to store it on your Macintosh to save space.
Yes.
So you just have to make it as if it's local.
Okay. Now, can I ask you another question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if I'd like to possibly redo all of my slideshows because the pictures I scanned in, the slides I scanned in, are actually higher in quality than a DVD would play back at.
Right.
So what kind of a file format would I have to have?
Well, there's another way you could do this, which is just put the originals on the NAS. And then when you've mounted the NAS, then you could use a slideshow program on your Windows or your Mac or anywhere else to play them back.
Yeah, but I have music behind them, and in other words, it's like a whole...
What do you use to create your slideshows?
Well, unfortunately, these were old programs. I used Ulead DVD, Movie Factory.
Excellent stuff, but yes, old.
Yeah.
And at the time, they felt like, well, we can't put these images in their original format. They'll just be too big, so we're going to squeeze them down, and that reduced quality, right?
Yeah.
So, and getting in an ISO requires that same thing, too, because an ISO is a CD image that's no more than 700 megabytes. That doesn't hold very many images unless you squish them.
Yeah, but I do have a Blu-ray burner now, and
I wouldn't even do that because you're going to have the same problem then down the road. What you really want is a way to slideshow the originals.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be very simple. Use iPhoto, for instance, to create, and you can have music and all that stuff, but just create a slideshow out of the originals. In other words, don't save the slideshow out as a discrete thing, because when you do that, all slideshow programs, including iPhoto, will squish the image down. What you want is, I mean, you could use iPhoto and iDVD, burn it out, but then you're going to have the same problem just down the road. They won't be the full quality. You want to keep those original photos in the original highest quality you've got. Make a slideshow out of them that refers to the images, doesn't squish them down. And then don't just save that slideshow in iPhoto and play it back through AirPlay. Don't create you'll be basically duplicating what you did last time. You're creating a disc now. Yeah, it's a bigger disc, it's better quality, but it's still going to be reduced quality from the originals. So let's not. That's just kicking the ball down the road. Let's solve this problem. Continue to use the originals in your slideshows, and that will work fine until you save it out as a file. So just don't. Melinda, Sherman Oaks, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Melinda. Thanks for hanging on. I'm sorry I kept you on hold so long.
You talking to me?
Yeah. If is your name Melinda?
Yes.
Then it must be you, unless there's another name. No, yes, it's you, Melinda.
Yes. Listen, I didn't hear it. I got a new laptop and it has Windows 8, and I really cannot stand it. I don't even want to. 8.1 is not going to help what I can't stand about this.
What is it you can't stand?
Oh, I'm a list maker. I'm not a tile girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I completely understand. In fact, wouldn't it be nice if you could turn on your computer and instead of going to tiles, it would go to the desktop? And wouldn't it be nicer still is if instead of that silly tile menu, you actually had the old-fashioned Windows 7 menu right on there? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it be nice if you could launch? Go ahead.
Find and run were really sacred, but they kind of wiped those out.
Well, you don't now. I got to tell you, this is an issue that I can solve for you in Windows 8. You just eliminate the find part and the run part, and you just, instead of doing that, in the tile world, you start typing the name of the program, and then hit return when you see it on the screen. That's all you have to do.
Well, remember when it would go search all programs at the bottom of Windows?
Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore.
I want to do that.
I know, no, but I'm just saying, pretend you did Command F. Pretend you did that. Instead, just start typing literally in the tile world, if you start typing the name of the program, it will find it. I know. Okay. Well, and anyway, I can help you get back to the.
Because I know you're trying.
No, I'm very trying. I can tell I'm trying. I'm trying too hard.
I do have a copy of Windows 7 that I have from my old computer, which has to go in to be repaired. So I've got the discs. There's no startup disk or anything in Windows 7, correct?
Well, there is a disk. You can't do it without a disk. Hey, here's one more thing. One more thing, okay? One more thing. I'm going to try really hard to keep you from going back to Windows 7, mostly because Windows 8 can be made to look exactly like Windows 7, and it is better in other respects. Go to Stardock, STARDOCK.com. They have a $5 program called Launch 8 that puts the start menu back in with, yes, your run command. They also have, if you want to use it, they have a program that will make sure that it always starts at the desktop, although now with Windows 8.1 you can use that as a setting. And they even have a little program called Mixter that will launch these Modern Mix rather, that will launch these tiled programs as windowed programs just like you're used to. So there's 3 little programs there. You really only need 2 of them if you're at Windows 8.1 that will make it exactly like Windows 7.
Well,
okay, or you can reinstall Windows 7. You can.
Is it hard? Could I do it?
Yeah. You'd have to now. You have to have the serial number for it.
Yes. You mean for the? Yes, I do.
Okay. And you'll what you'll do is do you have a CD or a DVD player in the computer?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll take your Windows install disk and you'll run it. Now, if it's a recovery, is it from that computer?
No. It's I upgraded a Dell.
Okay. Is it a Dell recovery disk?
No, there is no recovery disk with Windows 7. I didn't get one.
Is there? So it's a Windows install disk?
I installed it.
Okay, hang on. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So you need one of 2 things to make this work, Melinda. And unfortunately, I can't. Actually, I can't. Maybe if I pot her up, will she still be here? Are you still here, Melinda? Are you there, Melinda? I'm not. Hello? Yeah, she's still here. So we're off the air on the radio, but I want to finish this up. You need some sort of install disk. You don't have any install disk?
No, just the discs from Windows 7. I never got an install disk, and I never made one.
What are the discs that came with it?
With Windows.
What do you have?
Just 2 CDs.
And what do they say?
This is Windows 7. It's not counterfeit.
Good. That's a Windows install disk. Good news.
Yes. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I believe that is. It has a holographic logo on it.
Yes.
Yeah, yay. Thank you, Dell. So you do have a Windows 7 install disk. You can use that probably with any computer that probably isn't tied to Dell. It might not be, but you can try it. Here's the problem. When Dell sells Windows 7, they tie it to that Dell computer. So now if it's a true Windows 7 install disk, which it actually sounds like it is, it'll work anywhere as long as you have a serial number for it.
Yes, I do. And in this new thing is a Toshiba, and I just got it because my Dell, I spilled something on it, and I have to take it over to
So you may have a problem because generally Dell won't let you install their install disks on a Toshiba computer. In fact, they won't even let you install it on a newer Dell. It has to be on that computer. But if you for some reason, you can buy, it may have come with your Dell. If you have a genuine Windows 7 install, then you might be able to use that if you have the serial number. You may have to make a call to Microsoft saying, I'm installing it on a new computer, because they have this activation thing that prevents you from installing it on more than one computer. So you might have to say, no, I spilled something on the old computer. I'm installing it on a new one. And then they will reactivate it. They'll say, oh, okay. And they'll make it work. And now you've got Windows 7 on there. You'll have to wipe the hard drive.
Deeply into Windows 8.1, see if I can work it. I get into Windows Tiles, and it doesn't say how to get out of it.
I understand completely. Believe me, I'm not a fan of Windows 8.
Yeah.
But some of these things that I've told you about on StarDock will make it look more like Windows 7, including with Windows 8.1. You can set it so you don't ever have to see those tiles.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to try it. I'll give you.
I would. I think it's more likely going to work than that disk may not work, and then you've erased the hard drive and it doesn't work, and now what do you do, et cetera, et cetera.
You don't want to know what we would do in that case. But anyway,
it wouldn't be good for the computer.
I'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Melinda.
The best I can.
All righty, dear. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
This is why I'm going to talk when I come back about the issue with Windows 8. But I think you put StarDock on here. Problem is, see, she learned how to use Windows 7, which I probably was a painful and long process, and she just doesn't want to use anything that she doesn't want to learn to do it again. And I don't blame her. And even solutions like this StarDock solution, she's going to have to learn how to use. It's not going to be quite right. So it's hard. No, I understand. It sounded like, though, that, and you can get this sometimes, she has an original Windows 7 full install disk. She said she installed it herself, so I think she probably bought it at some point. So I talked off the air with Melinda a little bit. I am completely sympathetic. Here's what, I think happened with Melinda. She, probably a dint of great labor, got a computer and installed Windows 7 on it, learned it, knows how to use it. She knows start, run. She learned how to use it at probably spending a lot of time and energy on it. And then Microsoft pulled the rug right out from under her. And not just her, almost 200 million other people, by shipping a new version of Windows that was completely different. Now, I understand why, companies have to move on, and sometimes you have to change things. But I also understand her desire not to start all over again and learn a new operating system. And she doesn't really like it. And you know what? She's right. Because what Microsoft's doing is making a transition from a desktop operating system to a tablet touch-based operating system. That's a big shift, a huge shift. Think about it. From using a keyboard and a mouse on a screen that's at arm's length, drop-down menus, overlapping windows, a desktop, a start, task manager, all of that they want to get rid of. All of that they want to get rid of. They want to do, Microsoft sees as its future, rightly or wrongly, but they've decided as a company, their future is something that has no keyboard, it has no mouse, has no desktop, has no drop-down menus. They want something that is like an iPad, that's a tablet. They really believe that the future is the tablet. They are in this transitional period where their operating systems are half tablet, half desktop. That's confusing as heck. And I think it's not unreasonable for a user to say, either, as Melinda does, hey, I learned how to use Windows 7, and now you're telling me I got to learn a whole new operating system. Not going to happen. I don't want to. It's also reasonable for users to say, I don't want to have to be a party to your gradual transition. I don't want to have to go through that, your awkward adolescence. Let me know when you get it done, when it's done, and then I'll go. That's why a lot of businesses, most businesses, are not buying Windows 8. They don't want to retrain people, and they don't want to be, a guinea pig in this transition. They're going to wait. Maybe in Windows 9 or 10, when Microsoft finally figures it out, they'll think about it. But Melinda, like a lot of us, is stuck. She doesn't have an IT department. She's doing this all on her own. So, unfortunately, what Melinda wanted to do, and I discourage her from it, is find a Windows 7 disk from some other computer and install it on their new computer. Better, frankly, to modify your Windows 8 to make it more like Windows 7, and that is totally doable. If you have Windows 8.1, and I strongly recommend you update to Windows 8.1. In general, you want to keep up with Microsoft, only because that's where all the security patches will be. That's where they're going. They're dragging you. It may not be fun, but they're dragging you along for the ride, so you might as well just go. Ride the horse in the direction it's going. It's a lot easier than riding it in a direction it's not going. But you can use Windows 8.1, and one of the things you can do is say, I want to boot up, when I boot up the machine, I don't want to see Tile World. I want to go right to the desktop. And then using this $5 application from stardock.com called Start and the number 8, puts a real Windows 7 style start menu on that desktop. Now, if you didn't know better, you'd say, hey, I'm kind of using Windows 7, except that you've got all the advantages of the updated Windows 8. And I think that's still not perfect, by the way. A Tile World will appear from time to time. You accidentally hit the Windows key, suddenly you're in Tile World again. She said, how do I get out of Tile World? Well, the best way to do that, you can do it with the Windows D key. We'll put you in the desktop if you have a keyboard. Best thing to do though, is put that Windows, the desktop tile, right there in the upper left-hand corner of Tile World so that it's easy to tap. Or if you just hit return, whatever's in the upper left-hand corner of Tile World will get launched automatically. So if you suddenly get in your Tile World, see, that was one of the complaints she had. I get in the Tile World, these tiles, I don't know what to do. I can't get out of it. I want to get to my desktop. It's kind of a disconnect. I understand. And I'm very sympathetic. And this is, unfortunately, we're a little bit at the mercy of Microsoft as it goes through this transition. It's not doing it elegantly. It's not doing it well. I don't know if it's even possible to do it elegantly and well. I really don't. I really don't. I think, you know, and I am comfortable enough with technology and with computers and have to learn new stuff all the time. So I just learn it and go ahead, you know. But for somebody who spent a lot of time and energy learning the old way of doing things, it's not a happy time. Just not a happy time. And I don't shake my fist and say curse you, Microsoft. I don't, because I think that they felt as a company, and they're probably right, that they had to. They looked at what's happening with tablets in general, and they realized, you know, the world is moving away from what we do. We need to keep up. Scott in Ontario, Canada. Hi, Scott. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey.
Big fan.
Thank you.
Been a fan since the Call for Help days.
Thank you.
I'm looking to upgrade from a regular hard drive to a solid-state hybrid drive. And I was wondering what brands you would recommend and how reliable are they?
So right now there's three kinds of hard drives. There's the spinning drives that we've all been used to for so long. And they come in high capacities, and the cost per gigabyte is very low. We're talking maybe a dime a gigabyte or something. It was very cheap. Then there's this other, on the other end of the spectrum, there's solid-state drives. They're made of the same kind of same kind of flash memory as compact flash in your camera or SD cards in your camera. It's a solid-state non-moving memory. Now, you're talking about a third thing that kind of bridges the gap. It's called a hybrid drive. It has a little bit of both. And I don't like them. And every test I've seen says a hybrid drive is kind of the worst of both worlds, not the best. The reason people like solid-state drives is they're really fast. They're fast for several reasons. One, they're random access. You know, a spinning drive, you have to move the head around. The access time takes a while. Sometimes you even have to wait for the drive to spin around. You know, you read something and wait for it to come around again to read the next thing. That takes more time. None of this is a solid-state memory, a solid-state drive. You just read it, read it, read it. Plus, the reading is much faster. Writing is even much faster. Not as much, but much faster. So putting a solid-state drive in an existing computer or buying a new computer with a solid-state drive can make worlds of difference in the perceived speed of the computer. It's not thinking any faster, but it boots faster, much, like 10 times faster. It loads programs faster. You don't get much of that benefit in a hybrid drive. The best choice, really, in my opinion, to be use a solid-state drive for your boot and your applications, and then because it's expensive per gigabyte, use a spinning drive for data storage. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The benchmarks, and I refer to my SSD guru on this, Alan Malventano at PC Perspective. If you go to pcper.com, you can read it. But his benchmarks on spinning, on hybrid drives show that they're really very disappointing in terms of performance. They're just not worth it. The best way to do it is kind of do it and by the way, there's a hybrid drive in effect on this Macintosh. This iMac has what Apple calls a fusion drive. And same idea, only it manages it more actively manages what's on the solid state and what's on the spinning. The hybrid drives, and Intel has a spec has a little 64 gig SSD. None of those really get the benefit. Your best bet is to get a 128 gig or thereabouts SSD. Put Windows and your apps on it. Make that your C drive. That's the boot drive that loads the apps. You get most of the benefit, and then have a terabyte or two, whatever you need, as your D drive for your data. Now it doesn't work on a laptop, and a laptop, just bite the bullet and buy all SSD. You gonna take off? You want a picture? Come on over. Come on over. Sit on the ball. All right. This is This is payback time.
No wonder you're so comfortable.
This is payback time. I'm sitting on a ball. I bet.
Yes.
This is Enrique's gets payback now. Because watch, we're not done with him. We got to dress him up.
Yes.
He knows what's coming.
Yes.
He's seen this 100 times.
Yes. Caps. ¿Ya? Ven para acá, Kike. Ven para acá, corre.
Yeah, get everybody in here.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
Don the cap of shame. All right. You want to get in here too? Oh, good.
Córrele.
Let's get the family. You know, we can get somebody to take a picture and you can all be in it. I'll get here. Can somebody come in and take a picture?
Thank you.
Picture time. Here comes Alex. No, we're going to get you in it too. Just because you're in Portland doesn't let you off the hook. You're still in the family. I'm not worried about the camera. I'm worried about his head. Did you want a filter?
No.
No. Let's get plain.
I have a phone by phones, so you got.
This is the iOS 7.
I got it.
It's that 3 thing. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
¿Por qué le pones eso?
I'm an Android man.
No.
Sorry. Okay, perfect. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17 photos.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Good luck. That's great.
Thank you.
So many things. Haven't you?
Nice to meet you.
It's
Thank
really
you.
impressive, about everything.
I do. I'm an
TV
expert on
and
everything.
computers
I'm just a know-it-all.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you, Enrique. Thank you. That's all I do is I play with this stuff all day and all night. It's going out of my brain fast, though, as I get older. Thank you, Enrique. Take care. Bye-bye. Take care. They're from Guanajuato, Mexico. Yeah, that's the solution. Melinda, you just need to make a dual boot machine. Then you in fact, make a tri boot. Have Linux, Windows 7, Windows 8, and you're golden. No. We were talking about hybrid drives as an alternative to either a solid-state drive or a spinning drive. And based on all the benchmarks I've seen of hybrid drives, they just don't deliver. They just don't deliver. And there are even, and you see this in laptops, Intel has a technology, I can't remember what they call it, smart drive or something, that uses a little small solid-state and a big spinning. All of this is because solid-state drives are more expensive per gigabyte. People want a lot of storage. I would say 2 things. A, you don't need as much storage as you think. In fact, the demand for storage, I think, is going down as we keep more and more of our stuff in the cloud or on, central drives, network-attached storage, that kind of thing, external drives. So in many cases, whereas you might have had a 2 terabyte drive in the PC that you bought 5 years ago, 128 gigs, 256 gigs, plenty, especially on a laptop. So, and by the way, prices on SSDs are dropping rapidly. I suspect we won't see spinning drives very commonly, except in the lowest price computers going forward. It's just really, I think, I haven't bought a computer that didn't have an SSD drive as its primary drive in 2 years. I really like solid-state drives. They're faster. Now, what Apple's done is taken it to the next level with their newest laptops, and they'll do this with the Mac Pro when it comes out next month. They take the SSD drive, and instead of putting it on a SATA connector, that's the serial ATA connector that all hard drives have used up to now in the last few years, they don't put it on the SATA connector because the SATA connector is a bottleneck, frankly. SSDs are so fast, they can move data faster than that connector can move it. So Apple has now started putting the solid-state drives on the PCI Express bus. Holy cow. Now we're talking some speed. These Express buses are 10 times faster than the SATA buses. They can move data finally at the speed the SSD is capable of. And the benchmarks I've seen on solid-state drives that are connected via PCI Express are incredible, even faster. You get the benefit on SATA 2 and 3. You get some benefit. But for maximum results, and I suspect going forward most computers will do this, a solid-state drive on a PCIe bus. Ooh, ooh, smoking. 8888 Ask Leo. Mike is in Trabuco Canyon, California, our next caller. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how are you, Leo? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
I have a veterinary clinic, and there are a number of really, really nice videos that we've recorded on the cable box. I'd like to be able to transfer them down to a DVD so I can just show them in the exam room at my or in the reception room at my clinic.
Oh, you might like to do that, but that's because you're a pirate. And it'll be over our dead bodies, says the cable and television industry.
Oh, you can't do that at all.
They don't want you to do that because they're afraid that you will do that. Take those DVDs, put a blanket out in front of the veterinary clinic, and start selling them. Okay. They really, the fear of piracy in the motion picture television industry is so great that they have made it so that the cable DVRs are sealed boxes. The only way you can get those off is through something we call the analog hole. And this is something that's much hard. They tried to legislate against it. It's much harder for them to block. You can play it back as if you're playing it into a television set, but instead record it.
Can I do that just to the HDMI that goes out to the TV?
Well, no, because the HDMI has something called HDCP, High Def Content Protection, and it requires that everything on the chain be HDCP compliant. And, of course, recorders are not.
So how do I play it out then?
So you have to play it out. That's why we call it the analog hole. HDMI is digital. You have to play it out through the analog connectors, component or composite.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll have to buy something for a computer that will record, that will take a composite or component input and record it onto the hard drive. It's expensive.
Oh, it is.
And it's a pain in the butt because you have to do it in real time. For every hour of content, it takes an hour to record it. They got us.
Okay.
And you know what? You're not a pirate. Although they probably would argue, well, you really should buy those DVDs if you're going to play them.
I would even buy them, but I don't even know how to buy them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they really want to solve this, make it easy for us to do what we want to do with our content. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are on Discovery or something, shows that you see on some channel?
Right, exactly.
Animal Planet or whatever.
Animal Planet.
Yeah,
correct.
That's a Discovery network. So if Animal Planet were smart, and they would sell these on iTunes or Amazon. They could sell them as digital if they wanted, but they would sell them in some form that you could get them.
Okay.
But they do really, they encrypt this stuff on the hard drive. They put copy protection on the HDMI cable. You really have to take advantage of what they call the analog hole. And the only reason they haven't locked that down is because it's so hard to do on your end, and the quality is degraded because you've gone to analog.
Okay.
It won't be high def. It'll be 480.
Well, that wouldn't be too
That's
bad.
fine.
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
for what
Yeah.
we're doing with it,
right?
It wouldn't be that.
Do you want
bad.
to play it for the animals?
No, for the no, we're playing it for the clients in the exam.
Oh, okay. I think when Ozzy gets lonely, he wouldn't mind looking at another dog romping. Yeah, what Animal Planet wants you to do, of course, is to buy another cable subscription and put a TV in the waiting room.
Okay. So if I did try and play it through the analog, the composite or component out, what do I record into?
Well, you see, this is why they don't mind if you do this, because now you have to buy a video capture card. I recommend the Pinnacle video capture cards, and to a computer, and then record it on the hard drive, and then you have to have a DVD burner in the computer, and then you're going to take you see what I mean? This is not worth. This is too much. Go to the Animal Planet website. They'll probably have a few of those for sale.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. Everybody, I don't blame you. You've got a DVR. You say, but I could see it in there practically. I could practically see the video right in there sitting on that disc. If only, it's on a hard drive even. If only I could just, no. They've locked it all down. They've locked it all down. There is a bill in front of Congress that would at least make these channels a la carte. Right now, you want to get Animal Planet, you got to buy 50 other channels you don't want. Hey, it's a business. This is America. They have a right to make a profit. Of course, we have a right to say we don't want to buy those 50 other channels. We want to buy the one. There is a bill in Congress to unbundle all of this stuff, which means it probably has no chance in the world. Sorry, Mike. Jack, Westminster, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Leo. Listen, I have a Mac, and it's the old version, operating system X, and I'd like to know if I can put a desktop publishing software on it.
Oh, yeah. Apple invented desktop publishing, going way back to PageMaker and an Apple Laser Writer. Remember that?
Oh.
The big desktop publishing software for Apple's is InDesign. You said it's old. Now, OS 10 is not old, but maybe it's an old. What is the computer?
It's in.
How old is it?
It's about. I bought it right. I got it in 2008.
Oh, that's fine. So it's not a cheap program, but it's the program that probably most magazines, newspapers use for desktop publishing. It's called InDesign. It's from Adobe.
Okay.
And it's you can buy it for $50 a month.
Okay.
Actually, InDesign by itself is only $20 a month. So that, people still, desktop publishing is still most commonly done on a Macintosh. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Red the red wine. Our show today brought to you by Ting.com. You know about Ting? Have I talked about Ting? I've talked about Ting. T-I-N-G. In fact, if you go to techguy.ting.com, you can take a look at what Ting has to offer. Ting is an MVNO, mobile virtual network operator. What they do is they sell Sprint service, but they decided they wanted to do it right. So there's no contracts. There is no early termination fee. In fact, they have an ETF relief program. If you're stuck on another carrier, they will pay your early termination fee when you move to Ting, up to 25% of your ETF, up to $75 per device. Just buy that device through Ting, port your number over, submit your final bill with the ETF from your previous carrier. You find out more at ting.com/ETF. The other thing about Ting is you only pay for what you use. So you only pay for the gigabytes you use, the minutes you use, the texts you use. You don't pay up front. You pay at the end of each month. There's no penalty for using more, there's no cost for using less. There's no overage charges, no add-on charges either. Voicemails included, caller ID. Better yet, tethering and hotspot included. Three-way calling, call forwarding, and other features. All part of Ting at ting.com. Unlimited devices on a plan. It's just $6 per month per device, and then you add the usage. By the way, all of the minutes, the data, the texts are shared. So it's great for a small business. It's great for a family. You could save so much money. The average monthly bill, $21 per device for Ting customers. How much are you paying for your phone? The average annual savings per device for a business with 11 to 20 employees, $440. And they've got all the hot phones. You bet. And in some cases, you can move your existing Sprint phone over too. No-hold customer support, 855-TING-FDW. If you call them anytime during business hours, a rep empowered to fix the problem, to help you, will get on the line and will not get off the line until it's done. They will not put you on hold. And, of course, they have great support, too, at help.ting.com. Forums, help ticketing, video system, video tutorials, video startup guides. So here's the deal. You're going to purchase your mobile device from Ting. You'll get it in 2 to 5 days. You'll activate your device. You can select a new phone number, port an existing one. Of course, they'll do that. They break your rates out by minutes, text messages, and megabytes, and bill you at the end of the month just for what you've used. I love Ting. You will, too. techguy.ting.com. You'll also save $25 on your first Ting device when you sign up there. techguy.ting.com. Start saving today. We have a new world chess champion. I'm very excited. His name is Dick DeBartolo. Congratulations on your amazing victory against Vishy Anand, the longtime chess champion of the world.
It was a piece of cake, you know. I hit the ball with my elbow. They all fell on the floor. I said, you know, I was about to make the winning move. He believed me. It was over in 30 seconds. It was 30 seconds.
It was so easy. Magnus Carlsen, he is, I think, 22 years old. He has easily been the best player in the world, easily for years. He's quite the prodigy. And beat Anand, who's 43 and has been the world champion since 2007, quite handily. Anand never won a single game in the match. Really incredible. Really incredible.
Carbonite for the live read.
Burn, burn, burn. A burning ring of fire.
Love is a burning thing.
Yeah. Hello.
And it makes
my name is Leo.
A fiery ring.
Da, da, da. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Burning in that ring of fire. I don't know how this happened. Here we are almost at the end of the show. And unfortunately, despite all my efforts, we got Dick DeBartolo on the phone.
Nice, nice. You're a buddy. You're a buddy.
Dickie D, he's Mad Magazine's maddest writer, one of my heroes ever since I was 6 years old. And he talks every week with us about gadgets. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
I am in fine fettle.
Oh, good. Yeah, you look good in that fettle. Yeah, it's nice.
My mom knitted it. It's extra fine wool.
I know.
So what do you got for us?
You know, we have a free gadget. I don't know if you've tried yours yet. I've been playing with mine. I like it, but I can't get the hang of it. Anyway, it's the Q4 keyboard.
Yeah, I did download it and install it.
Did you try it? Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting.
And also, I love the fact that when I saw the first demo of it, I said, "Oh, what, iOS only?" He said, "No, Android only."
Yeah.
I said, finally an app, Android only. Yeah. All right. So the Q4 keyboard, it's kind of bizarre. You download it. It's a free app, and you start out that the entire keyboard is in 6 sections. So in other words, the object here is you don't hit the individual key, you hit the color group that the key is in. So this cuts down drastically on the keystrokes, and the recognition software is pretty good. I mean, at the show, I said to the guy, all right, I'm just going to type here arbitrarily and then look up and see what the keyboard came up with. And I had just typed, this is the craziest keyboard I ever saw. I can't imagine what this keyboard is typing. And it got all but one word correct. But then to correct it, you hit the word, and then a series of words come down, and then you highlight the one you want. The object is that when you get really, really proficient at it, you can reduce it to 4 color ovals. So you don't see no keys at all, and they are translucent or transparent, so they hang over your keyboard. So the object is full real estate without the keyboard taking up any space. And as I said, the thing is, since it's a free app, if you want to play one day with it, just in the Play Store, look for Q4. As soon as you type Q4 keyboard pops up.
And I imagine at some point they'll make money by charging for extras in some way.
Yeah, that's what the guy said. You know, they're looking to build a base, and then they'll think about how to.
It's the modern world. Nobody needs to make
exactly.
money anymore. Just give it away.
No, give it away.
I did try it, and you know, it's a great idea. And you know, it gets smarter with time, and your keyboard gets simpler and faster with time. And I probably didn't give it enough time, but I found it a little bit frustrating. And you know, I text so much now, I type so much. I even do email on my phone that I was really reluctant to, take the time to learn it, I guess.
Yeah, yes, the learning curve, exactly.
Yeah.
I still just dictate with the microphone, and
I do a lot of that, frankly.
To be the fastest for me.
There's a reason why it's not on Apple. Apple does not allow you to use alternate keyboards. You have to use the Apple keyboard or nothing. So there is no market in keyboards in iOS. There are quite a few choices on Android. My favorite is Swift Key, followed by Swipe. Google has its own. Swipe's excellent.
Swipe is good. Yeah.
And Google has its own Google keyboard you can download from the Play Store that's free. All three of them do the same thing, which is instead of tapping away, you draw from letter to letter in a swiping motion. And I actually am quite fast with that. I like that.
Wow. Yeah, Matt is coming up with its own keyboard. It's just 4 letters, and right now it needs work. You can send memos that only use those 4 letters. So I think it needs
way
work.
to go.
Yeah.
Hey, have you played the What the Heck Is It contest? Gizwiz.biz. It's a chance for you to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine, autographed by this guy right here, Dickie D. The last month's contest was a Pringles can, a Pringles storage container.
Yeah, for your lunchbox.
This one's quite obviously a Bluetooth headset, but I could be wrong.
Could be.
12 Mad Magazines for the right answer. Did you anybody get the right answer on the Pringles can?
Oh,
a lot of people.
Your listeners are nothing but junk food hounds.
Wow.
I got about 70 correct answers.
So this one, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a Bluetooth headpiece. Obviously, couldn't be. That would be too easy.
Well, I'm not saying.
24 Mad Magazines for the wrong answer. So just make up some Fakatka answer. You'll probably win. And all you got to do, go to the website for the rules and all of that stuff. You have till the end of the year. You'll be playing for the February 2014 issue of Mad Magazine. And Dick always signs. It's fun because he signs it all different names. You never know who you're going to. You get Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I don't have the time to when the emails come. So I just pre-sign them.
Hey, Dickie D, thank you. Stick around. We're going to do the GizFizz right after the show, but we gotta go now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dickie D.
I'll be here Tuesday.
Right. Tuesday we do the GizWiz podcast on most of these same podcast networks. Frank's in Temecula, California. Hi, Frank.
Hi, how you doing, Leo?
I am very well.
I actually called about a year ago. I was the Marine that had a laptop. My screen got broken.
Oh, yeah.
Snapped the thing in half and turned it into a desktop.
Snapped it right off because the keyboard, the CPU, everything was fine. It's just the tablet, the screen that was messed up.
Pretty much. Basically, I'm calling today. I have a daughter now, and she's 1 year old.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Are you back home now, or are you still...
Yes, I'm back home.
That's great. So you get to be there for her. That's wonderful.
Yeah. For the holidays. But basically, I'm looking for a good a tablet. We had an iPad, but my luck, unfortunately, it got ran over.
You're tough on hardware, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't do too well with it.
You Marines, I tell you. I tell you. All right. So, but now what you might want to look at, especially for a 1-year-old. I got to tell you, the iPad software really is better than anything else for kids. That's where all the good apps are.
Okay. So
but you might want to look at either a refurbed, or you know what? I think the Apple's still selling the old iPad Mini, which is a nice size for a 1-year-old, for less. I think $299. So at that point, it's pretty competitive with anything else that's out there, and you get the advantage of all this kids software out there. I would get a good rubber case for it too.
Yeah, something protective.
Yeah.
Probably get a.
So either an iPad 2 or an iPad, the last year's iPad Mini. That's plenty good for a 1-year-old. You're being a generous dad.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Well, you know, something to help her learn. Madison.
Hi, Matt. I hear Madison in the background. Hi, Madison.
Yeah, she's right here.
I think kids and iPads just seem to go together so nicely. And
okay.
Yeah.
And it has time control restrictions on it, right?
Yes. Parental controls are there. With a 1-year-old, you could just take it away. It's when they get to 8 years old then you have to fight, right? I just think iPads are just the best for little kids. Sometimes people buy at roughly the same cost, Leapfrogs or Fisher Prices. No, get them a real iPad. I think you're a great dad. Thank you for your service. I really appreciate it, Jeff. Leo Laporte. I'm sorry, Frank. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.